have deferred. So deep back for Oakland will be 7th-round rookie T.J. Carey. And to kick off for the Hawks will be Stephen Hauschka. Last week, a win in Carolina, as we talked about, giving the Seahawks a 4-3 record, coming off their 13-3 record of a season ago. The Raiders lost at Cleveland, played well, losing 23-13. This is an intimidating place for any team to play.
Especially with a rookie quarterback, Kevin. You've got to be able to come out of the gates, and you've got to be able to deal with this crowd noise. It can overwhelm young quarterbacks.
And Carey will leave it in the end zone, which will give the Raiders 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line. And here is the much-talked-about quarterback, rookie Derek Carr. As you mentioned, 328 through the air against the Browns a week ago.
Well, the good thing, Kevin, he's getting rid of the football. He doesn't hold the ball, comes out quick. He's only been sacked 8 times in seven games. And talking to the defensive staff, Dan Quinn and the guys in Seattle, he said that his get-off time's around 2.75. That's fast.
Shed begins in the secondary for the Hawks. 1st and 10. Darren McFadden hit by K.J. Wright, and a wall of Seahawks defenders getting a gain of 2. He's up to the 22-yard line, and that's all they give to McFadden. They'll be running him back at the rookie left guard. Gabe Jackson held his own. Penn is replacing Jared Beldier at that left tackle this season. The running back we just saw him, Darren McFadden, almost 5 yards a carry last week against a pretty good Browns defense. 2nd down and 8. Play action by Carr. Here comes Bennett. There goes Carr. It's caught by Holmes right in front of Sherman at about the 33-yard line. Good throw. There's Holmes with that catch. An 11-yard pickup on the play. The Seahawk defense. Averill coming off a good game in Carolina. Depth was such a factor on the defensive line in a good way a season ago. Linebacking issues, Bobby Wagner and Malcolm Smith out. Brock Coyle will start in the middle, a rookie free agent. Secondary, Harold Simon will start. And Shed is starting today. Couple subs, 1st and 10. This is McFadden. He tripped as he went around the block of one of his linemen. And a stop there by Averill after a gain, maybe a loss of a yard back to the 32-yard line.
You know, Kevin, it's hard to stay committed to the running game when you have a difficult time getting back to the line of scrimmage. I mean, you study this Oakland offense, too many negative runs, struggling just to get back to the line of scrimmage. They need more movement up front. The tight ends haven't been great run blockers.
It's 2nd down and 11. McFadden again, good block by Olawale, and he takes the ball out near the 40-yard line. Hit out there by Wright, and so they get 9, and a good one right there for McFadden.
Well, these numbers aren't pretty, and especially with a rookie quarterback. Look at the rush attempts, dead last, rushing touchdowns, and the rushing percentage. And part of that is because they're behind in games, I get it, but you've got to stay committed. Greg Olson's told us we want to try and run the football more. But it's tough. There just hasn't been the production there, especially on the early downs.
Hawks have gone to the nickel, 3rd and 2. Blocked by Penn, up the middle for a 1st down. The grab by the tight end, Rivera. Hit on the play by Shed. It's a gain of 4 and a Raider 1st down.
Now you give Derek Carr some protection, and he can find the open receiver. I mean, just a good job getting Rivera the ball early between the 2 linebackers.
Slider goes back to the base. Leaves his back in, 1st and 10 from the 45. Game opening drive. Schofield is coming on the edge. They go incomplete that time to the tight end Brian Leonhardt. It'll be second down. Tell me about Carr. What do you think of him and the way he's maneuvered through this rookie year?
Well, just spending Friday here in Seattle, Kevin, with the coaching staff of the Seahawks, all they could talk about was that game that you and I did a few weeks back when we were in Oakland against San Diego. They just kept referring. I mean, he was terrific. Threw 4 touchdowns. I mean, he clearly has gotten everybody's attention with the way he has thrown the ball through the first 7 weeks.
A lot of coaches like him around the league. Second down and 10. This is McFadden. He's brought down by Brock Coyle, starting the middle linebacker for Malcolm Smith. It is a gain of 2, and they're up to the 47.
We talked about the struggles they had running the ball. Remember what they did in the offseason? They addressed the offensive lines. You look at Tony Soprano. They signed 3 free agents. They drafted a left guard in the 3rd round. They signed Maurice Jones-Drew, and yet they're dead last in rushing. There's no excuse for it. Got to be able to run the ball more effectively in order to have a chance to win here today.
It's the 8th play of the Raider drive. Into the nickel, Carr. And he's got his tight end, Rivera, again. And the ball was taken away, it looked like, by Burley and Sherman. They're going to call it a completion. He's down to the Seahawk 37, picks up 16 and a first down.
The thing I like about Carr is he can throw from awkward body positions, even with some push in his face. You see Sherman there, he just rips it out. Takeaways are down, significantly down for Seattle this year. They've worked a great deal in the last couple weeks on ball extraction in practice.
Rivera gets his second third down reception on this drive.
He's doing a good job finding the holes in zone coverage.
First and 10. Oh, that time he was wrapped up, slowed down. Almost in back of the line of scrimmage. Coyle came shooting through, but really the guy that hit him first was Michael Bennett. It's a loss of 3. They'll go back to the 40-yard line.
Look at how quick. Look at the right side of the offensive line for the Raiders. They're slow off the ball. Look at you get penetration. Bennett is literally 3 yards in the backfield when Darren McFadden gets the football.
He leads them in quarterback hurry.
There was no foul on the play. It was an unbalanced line, legal. Second down.
With Ed Hocula here, you know the game is in good hands.
He'll explain it to you. Honestly, Kevin, I appreciate that. As a fan, certainly as an analyst, I'm going to take the time to explain exactly what's going on the field.
4 defensive backs. Second down and 13. Screenplay McFadden. Blocked by Wisniewski. Blocked by Jackson, and he slides his way past the 30-yard line. And he was hit by a couple. Leonhardt is the Raider down, slow to get up. He picks up 9 on the play.
Really not surprised to see a screen early. Seattle really struggled last week against Carolina in the screen game. Cam Newton they had a lot of screens off of quarterback movement. And again, this is just another way for the Raiders to get the ball on the perimeter to Darren McFadden and also take some of the edge off that pass rush.
KJ Wright made the stop. Maurice Jones-Drew is in, 3rd and 3. Carr. Nice knockaway that time by linebacker KJ Wright. Terrific pass coverage on the play. It's 4th down, and the Raiders will try for 3.
I don't know that the quarterback ever really saw him. KJ Wright, Kevin, comes from the quarterback's right all the way across the field. He's a little bit late getting there, but he's able to get a hand in on that throw to Rivera. Rivera is the guy that they've been looking for early in this one.
Rivera caught the pass for 16. Holmes got 1 for 11. McFadden a 9-yard run, a 9-yard reception, and this is for the lead, and it is a 3-0 Raider advantage. 48-yard field goal on the game's opening drive. Carr engineered it. The rookie out of Fresno State. 9-10 first quarter. Derek Carr dealing with not only a pretty good defense, but a lot of noise inside, and he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, Kevin, he's a terrific start. The more he plays, the better he gets, and they're asking a lot from the rookie quarterback.
It's the ensuing kickoff by Janikowski, and with the full head of steam is the very fast wide receiver Richardson. We'll see more and more time getting that kickoff right there, racing 28, and he'll give the Seahawks the ball. Here comes Russell Wilson. Here come the Hawks.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at Southwest.com.
No more
Mercedes
pigs.
Benz. The best or nothing. And by Papa John's, official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Bustling Pike Place Market in gorgeous Seattle. 48-yard field goal by Janikowski. Suing kickoff. Wilson 1st and 10 with the new center. And here is Marshawn Lynch out to the 30-yard line. Hit on the play by Khalil Mack. It is a gain of 2 with a look at Russell Wilson, who engineered that wonderful game-winning drive last week in Carolina.
He was just terrific. And I think in those situations, he's just so comfortable late in games, fourth quarter, overtime. Most game-winning drives in the fourth quarter since 2012. And just terrific in the clutch.
2nd down and 8. Again. Piling over bodies. Moves into C.O. Moore, who makes the stop. It is a gain of 6 on the play. Let's take a look at their line. It changes here. Bailey for Okun at the left tackle. Patrick Lewis starting for Unger. It could have been one of 3 guys today. It's his first career start. And Marshawn Lynch. A lot of people think that now they're going to get him going as the second half of the season is here.
It's that time, isn't it? I mean, they went out and signed a fullback. They're a little banged up along the offensive line, Kevin. That's a concern, but I think it's got to be a big Marshawn Lynch type of day.
Lynch again. Hit by Ross. Slithers for a 1st down up to the 40-yard line and picks up 4. The defense for the Raiders. C.J. Wilson replacing the injured and ineffective Lamar Woodley. Linebacker Khalil Mack, one of the league's best defensive rookies. He is truly a building block for the years to come. Woodson headlines the secondary, but T.J. Carey, a rookie, will start for the injured Carlos Rogers. Rogers had all those good years in Washington and San Francisco. It is a 1st and 10. Britt the block at the right tackle, and here comes Russell Wilson. Top rushing quarterback in the NFL. C.O. Moore chases him out of bounds. It is a gain of 3 to the 43.
Well, they talked all week about trying to contain Russell Wilson. Empty, no backs. You see the 4-man rush. This is where he's dangerous. He just does a good job stepping up, finding a crease. And the Raiders have talked all week about not going for that pump fake.
And he's protective. He knows when to hit the deck.
He's got eyes in the back of his head. He never seems to take, Kevin, an unnecessary hit. He's not the biggest quarterback, but he's certainly one of the smartest when he gets outside the pocket.
With a couple of tight ends. 2nd down and 7. Outside. Wilson blocked. Bolden got it. He was drilled in the play. The former defensive player of the year. Many times a Pro Bowler, Charles Woodson. It is a gain of 2 to the 45.
Isn't it amazing? Your best player is your oldest player. He's the oldest defensive player in football. He's your best player. And he's been terrific. I mean, he's just got a knack for the game. He understands situational football. He does a great job, Kevin, looking at personnel groupings, looking at splits, and he'll jump certain routes that he recognizes based on his film study.
Your former teammate.
Former teammate. That's how old he is.
That's old. Into the nickel, 3rd and 5 for Russell Wilson. Tipped. Lynch. 1st down. Hit by Moore. Shoved out of bounds into Raider territory at the 48. He picks up 7. Out of Lynch here early. A steady diet of the running back out of Cal.
Well, Thursday practice was a costly one for Seattle. We talked about how they practice like it's a game. Russell Okun lost him to a calf injury. Cam Chancellor hurt his groin. Neither are playing today. So talking to Pete Carroll, he's very concerned they're without 5 or 6 starters in this game.
6 of them.
6
starters. It's the 7th play of the opening drive for the Seahawks. Lynch. Burris got a first hand on him. As Lynch works his way to the 42 and picks up 6 yards right there. Have they been very meticulous the way they've used him, giving him some rest, a la the San Antonio Spurs resting their veteran players?
Well, I think you have to be smart. I mean, it's a long season, Kevin. You look at Marshawn Lynch. He's got a lot of carries on that body. And they have been, I think, very careful in terms of what they've done with him the first 7 games. But now we're getting to the second half of the season, and I think it's his time.
It's second down and 4. Britt the block at the right tackle. Time for Russell Wilson. Knocked away. Going for Curse, and there goes the flag. It's on D.J. Hayden. He was the #1 pick a year ago, and he was following Jermaine Curse. Little PI right there on the second-year player.
It's a terrific job by Russell Wilson going after a player, Kevin, that
Pass
hasn't really
interference,
practiced.
defense, number 25. The ball was placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
And they talk about how they haven't attempted as many deep passes this season for this offense.
Yeah, but you see 25 out there, you got to go after him. Look, D.J. Hayden's active for the first time last week. He played in 5 snaps versus Cleveland. He hurt his foot at the start of OTAs. He missed all of training camp. He's had 1 padded practice, and you question where he's at even physically. And they went right after him early.
Hayden, of course, had that heart injury coming out of school. He was shelved for some off-season foot surgery. First and goal at the 6. Norwood was in motion. Lynch. Oh, they've got big Justin Jelly Ellis, a rookie out of Louisiana Tech, who's making his 6th start today, and they like him on the line. A loss of 4, back to the 10.
Well, here he is right there. He's a big man, Kevin, right in the middle of that defensive line. And the Raiders made a concerted effort to get bigger up front. They were undersized. They had an undersized front last season. They got pushed around too often. They're bigger and more physical inside.
I'm assuming your nickname was not Jelly at any time in your career.
Personal foul, roughing the face mask, defense. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Another Raider penalty, and Ellis.
Actually, that was jelly roll through 5th grade.
Oh,
I was a little chubby and overweight as a kid, but thank you for bringing that up.
I was watching face mask here by Ellis. Inadvertent, but he was grabbing for anything he could find.
Well, you know, Marshawn Lynch has that great jump cut. You know, you think you've got him, and his ability to quickly slide laterally.
Yeah, he runs with power, but has the feet.
He's got some suddenness and some quickness to him in the hole.
Good footwork. First and goal. Lynch. Woodson was in there, then he was stood up, and look at him. He never quits. He never quits. He got in. That, my friends, is a bulldozing 3-yard touchdown run. Marshawn Lynch. What effort.
When we talk about a unique running style with the running back, he's so strong in his lower body. You talk about yards after contact. Now watch his teammates. Look at Carpenter. Look at the offensive line. They all come running in, and they push him into the end zone.
And that is legal. 8 plays, 72-yard drive. That 36-yard penalty on Hayden was a costly one for the Raiders with the extra point in Hauschka. 7-3. The defending champs. 4:07 in the first. A steady diet of Lynch. And that's what they end up with. This time, he has him in a grip and pushes himself in for 6. Back in Seattle, the CBS Sports app now has the fastest scores. Download it today and be the first to get your football updates and scores right on your phone. Marshawn Lynch, his last rushing touchdown against Denver 6 weeks ago, which was the game-winning touchdown run in OT against the team that this Seattle team faced in the Super Bowl. The ensuing kickoff by Hauschka. T.J. Carey leads it in the end zone again with another touchback in his 2nd consecutive start at the 20 for the Raiders. He was impressive on their opening drive.
He was very impressive. Love the finish from Marshawn Lynch.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new LG G3, the world's first smartphone with laser autofocus, and by New York Life Insurance Company.
Seahawks! Those guys doing their best impression of Tim Brown and Steve Largent. 2 great receivers for these 2 franchises over the years. Fun place to be. All right, here we go now. 2nd possession for the Raiders. Got a field goal the first time of 48 from Janikowski, and a 1st and 10 here for Derek Carr. Younger brother of David Carr, #1 pick out of Houston a couple of years ago. Good block by Penn. Carr for Rivera. Overshoots him, incomplete. And the coverage on the play provided by Deshaun Shedd, who gets the start today. The last drive for the Raiders.
Well, they did some good things, Kevin. A couple catches from Rivera, screen pass to McFadden, of course, capped off with a 48-yard field goal from Sebastian Janikowski. You just can't. It's good that you started with points, but they've got to be able to finish when they get into plus territory. Too many field goals so far for the Raiders early in games.
It is the number 31 offense in the NFL. Second down and 10 with McFadden. Well, they have McDaniel down there and a couple others. I see Michael Bennett. Gain of a yard. He's up to the 21 for Oakland.
You look at the rushing issues. We talked about them being dead last, Kevin. Just 487 rushing yards through 7 games. And they're dead last by a lot. I mean, it's not even close. Look at the 31st team. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now.
And Seattle's number 6 against the run defensively.
And they do a good job getting off of blocks and linebackers that can run and fill. Here comes the pressure.
3rd and 9 going for Holmes. Defended by Sherman. And defended well. It's incomplete. Holmes had a chance at it. Holmes, a good-looking young player. 3 and out. Raiders have got a punt.
Well, not surprised to see the pressure early when you look at this Seattle defense. A little stunt inside. But they are going to bring 6. And they are going to try and get around Derek Carr early. You've got to probe. You've got to find out if this young quarterback has answers versus pressure.
Baldwin back to get the punt. They cut Walters. Last week it was Sherman returning in Carolina. Marquette King, who's got a big-time leg, is witness right there. With a 26, hang time of 4.78. So the hang time was there. They got down there on a 53-yard punt. Russell Wilson, impressive the first time he had it. His second possession coming up next on CBS. The regular center, Max Unger, hasn't played since early October in Washington. Patrick Lewis taking his place today.
Yeah, now they're on to the 3rd different center. This is a real problem for the Seahawks.
It's Wilson on 1st and 10. And he goes outside. He was looking for Curse. Nice coverage across the way by T.J. Carey. Well, tell me, why for a quarterback does that center have that kind of value?
Well, you always want to be strong down the middle, and you lose a Pro Bowl center like Max Unger, and that hurts you. I think he's about a week away. Kevin, we saw him practice a little bit on Friday, but then they had Steve Schilling. He played the last 3 weeks, and then Patrick Lewis. He comes in and gets his first start. And you're talking about an inexperienced player, second-year player. He just got signed in middle of October, so he's still learning the system. So this puts more of the emphasis on Russell Wilson when it comes to communication at the line of scrimmage.
The second down and 10. They go to Lynch, and he was gobbled up that time by veteran Antonio Smith, and a gain of 2 to the 28-yard line. Big game in Foxborough. Let's go to James Brown.
Denver answers back. They do, JB. They go 9 plays, 80 yards. Peyton Manning 5 of 7, 67 yards into the win. That's Ronnie Hillman, 1-yard TD run. Broncos lead 7-3. Kevin Harlan for Rich Gannon.
Hillman has done a nice job with some injuries in that running back core.
He's really done a nice job, Kevin. And, Peyton Manning is so good at getting men into the best run possible based on the front coverage, as good as there is in football.
3rd and 8. Here comes the blitz by Carey. He's also chased by Moore, but Wilson gets away from both, and then finally looked like Carey got him. Nice defensive series for the Raiders. 3 and out for the Seahawk offense.
Well, this doesn't happen very often. You're going to see the pressure comes right off the edge, and Russell Wilson, he's late to see it. You see, he just tries to run to his right. He's got nowhere to go with the football, just throws it away to avoid the sack. A little late with his eyes, and he knows he's one short. They've got no answer for T.J. Carey.
Sean Ryan to punt, and T.J. Carey is back. Carey's out of Ohio from the 18-yard line. There's a flag, and a quick takedown right there by the Seahawks' Kevin Pierre-Louis. We're going to see some of him today at linebacker on a 53-yard punt and a 6-yard return. Ed Hockley is out there with his crew Ed has officiated 2 Super Bowls, 7 conference championship games. He'll go down as one of the best officials, referees in the NFL.
During the return, holding by the receiving team, number 42. The 10-yard penalty enforced from the spot of the foul. Oakland keeps the ball after enforcement. First down.
So the 3rd possession for the Raiders coming up. This week, Thursday Night Football showcases an AFC North rivalry as the Browns take on the Bengals. Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, live on NFL Networks, and both teams will be coming off wins.
I'm surprised I'm not doing that game. I think I've done every Browns-Bengals game the last 3 years.
Uh-oh. Get withdrawals.
I always do the Battle of Ohio. What's going on?
1st and 10. And they're trying to get something with McFadden up the middle, and then again, you just see one big player after another. Kevin Williams among a couple in there to make the stop. It is a gain of 4. He's up to the 15-yard line for Oakland.
You look at the part of the turf on the top of the helmet of McFadden. It's been raining a little bit, Kevin, through this first quarter, and it's really important. Talk about ball security, and that's kind of been decreed, if you will, for teams that have come in to play against this Seattle defense. Got to take care of the football against a defense that's been so good over the years of taking it away, especially here in Seattle.
It's 2nd down and 6. McFadden. He was grabbed right off the bat, maybe even shy of the line of scrimmage. K.J. Wright and Shad and others in there. No gain on the play. How have teams come back winless one year to beat the Super Bowl champs the next? Here you go with the list of the teams.
Yeah, not a lot of them. I actually knew someone on that 67 Vikings team.
Who was
actually, my
that?
father-in-law, Bill Brown, played on that team against the Packers.
Bill Brown. I like
That's
that.
right. He played on that team, but it's tough. And you look at the Raiders today, Kevin, they've got to play flawless football in order to beat the world champs.
3rd and 6. Carr into the nickel. The block is picked up by Penn, and the outside it goes to Bryce Butler, and he was knocked out by Shed. He's got the 1st down. Catch and run to the 27, and Bryce Butler picks up 13 and a 1st down.
Well, the thing I like about Derek Carr, he quickly works through his progressions. He seems to know exactly where to go with the football, and it comes out quick. And you think about Seattle defensively, they're not overly complicated. They don't really change week to week. Not a ton of fronts and coverages. They don't do a lot of blitzing. They're sound, they line up, and they challenge you at the line of scrimmage.
Bryce Butler with his 9th reception of the season, 1st and 10. Carr deflected and picked up. Bruce Irvin on the move. He's got the quarterback to beat. And he's in for the touchdown. A pick 6 by Seattle. Irvin's 2nd career interception is good for a touchdown.
Well, you're not even going to see Bruce Irvin. Typically, we see him rush the passer. I don't know that Carr ever feels Irvin. And what a terrific play. You got a 6'3" linebacker that can rush and also drop in coverage. What a great athlete. What a terrific play by Bruce Irvin.
Irvin coming off a good game last week against Carolina when he had 2 sacks for the Seattle D. So he's put together now, should this stand, and of course every scoring play is reviewed. And that's what they're going after right now. Irvin was the #1 pick out of West Virginia.
We are reviewing the ruling on the field that it was a touchdown.
Well, just a good alert play by Irvin, and he finishes.
Under review. A referee at Hockey League has gone under the hood to look at the replays. He was in communication with New York, which is a new facet of the replay system this year, and let's see what his ruling is. Call on the field, as you can see, was a touchdown on the interception by Irvin.
The ruling on the field stands as called. Touchdown.
Let's go to Mike Carey. Mike, you watch it, many different angles. What did you think?
Yeah, and this is an important technical part of this play. So the ball, if it goes outside of the pylon, the runner must get a body part down in the end zone, which he doesn't. Hitting the pylon does not put him in the end zone. And so if the ball is outside the pylon, it will not be a touchdown, but there's not a good enough angle to determine that.
Very good explanation. You are worth your weight in gold. Thank you very much, Mike. The big pick six, the first interception from Carr in 91 pass attempts. Timeout. There's a look at Derek Carr, who had that picked off, had a nice string as a rookie as he was navigating a couple different teams, but he got caught right there, and a nice interception by Irvin, who had to kind of reel it in after he stopped the ball's flight.
And we're so used to seeing Bruce Irvin rush the passer, we don't see him drop off in coverage very often. It just shows you his talent, his versatility in this scheme.
We're starting the second quarter with Seattle on top 14-3. A rushing touchdown, a pick six by Irvin. As the rain was falling, I think it is still falling now as I look up. In fact, they said it started about 10 minutes before kickoff. It is light, it isn't heavy, and this is kind of what we expect off and on throughout the day. And for a quarterback, that's got to bring up some more issues, right?
Well, I hated it, Kevin. I hate dealing with the wet, slick ball. I don't know if any quarterback does. I can deal with the wind and the snow, but the rain is clearly a problem for most quarterbacks.
And Carey, for a third consecutive time, will leave it in the end zone. Thursday on CBS, Holmes and Watson are back, and this week it's a case of mind over matter. Don't miss a new Elementary Thursday at 10, 9 Central, only CBS. So here come the Raiders, a little bit shell-shocked perhaps. And all week long they were having noise pumped into the practices, weren't they?
Yeah, and talking to Tony Sperano, he said they typically don't use the noise every day, but they did this week, and they said they couldn't get it loud enough. It's impossible to try and assimilate this noise here in Seattle.
Couple tight ends, 1st and 10. McFadden, not much there. Bennett was there, Coyle was there, combining on the stop and throwing Darren McFadden for a loss of a yard. He'll be back at the 19.
And there's just nowhere to go. You just watch it from the end zone in our booth here. I got a different monitor, Kevin. There's just nowhere to go. I mean, they've got it. It's just every time McFadden seems to get the ball, there's a free rusher in the hole. We have these linebackers that are fast flow. They come downhill in a hurry once they realize it's run.
That's been their blueprint, hasn't it?
Yeah, really aggressive. Play action here would be good on the early downs.
2nd down, 11. Little sidearm job there. James Jones outside. KJ Wright had a beat on him across the way. Also, Shed was over there starting today for some injured players, namely Byron Maxwell in the secondary for Seattle.
Well, it's a terrific throw by Derek Carr. I mean, he's got a free rusher in his face, and he does a nice job. Just you talk about throwing from awkward body positions, and that's something Derek Carr does a good job of.
You used to practice that sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be able to find holes. You got to be able to find pockets. There, he had the free rusher, but he still was able to kind of slide and get that sidearm and get it out.
3rd and 5 into the nickel. That's picked off by Sherman. Now buckle up. Here he goes. Looking for some blocks. Breaks a tackle of Rivera. Breaks a tackle of Jackson. Finally shoved out of bounds by Donald Penn. The Pro Bowler, the All-Pro cornerback Richard Sherman with his first interception this year.
Well, this is a matchup that the Raiders actually like, but they talked about the things that Sherman does best. He's probably the best in football, Kevin, at defending the back shoulder throw. And that's exactly what Derek Carr was trying to get accomplished there. Clearly, the receiver and quarterback weren't on the same page, but this guy is terrific. Not a lot of quarterbacks will go after Richard Sherman. Hasn't seen a lot of activity. Not getting much work these days. You look at the numbers quarterbacks aren't throwing in his direction.
Rich, that's only the 4th interception, too, by the defense. They had 28 a season ago.
The pass rush hasn't been good, and they haven't been playing with leads late in games.
First down and 10. Here they come. Gets by Ellis. Wilson. Good shot for Luke Wilson. Here's the tight end, and they had C.O. Moore back there. Incomplete. Second down and 10.
Yeah, just look at the numbers. We're just talking about this. Look at the people say, well, maybe he's not having the same year he had last year. Nonsense. Look at the numbers. Quarterbacks aren't throwing the ball in his direction. You don't get throws in your direction, it's hard to get the interceptions. But he's a tall corner. You've got to move him. You've got to get him moving. You've got to challenge his change of direction skills and make him redirect. If you throw the vertical routes against Sherman, you're probably going to lose.
Most interceptions in the league since 2011. Second down and 10. Marshawn Lynch. Ellis is on him and holding on for dear life. Stretching that jersey and only allowing a gain of 2 down to about the 16-yard line. This puts a lot of stress on the defense for a team like Seattle to begin so deep in your own territory.
Yeah, it does. And you look at the Raiders. They've struggled a little bit in this part of the field, but I really like Ellis. We've seen him make a couple plays already today, Kevin. He's their 4th-round pick this year. They have some young players. We've been talking a lot about Carr. You talk about a guy like T.J. Carey and Matt. Another one is going to be Ellis. He's got a chance to be a pretty talented player.
Into the nickel, 3rd and 8. A little high that time for Jermaine Kearse, and the coverage across the way by veteran Terrell Brown. 4th down, the defense holds, allowing only a field goal try by the Seattle offense. There's a look at Ellis. He's not missed many meals.
I thought Russell Wilson, went back and watched the Carolina game last week. I thought he missed a couple throws he normally makes with ease down in the red zone. 2 of them, to be precise. And footwork was the culprit on both, and it affected those throws. That one he threw without a hitch, and it was a little bit high.
Hauschka will try a 34-yard field goal. Under 50 yards, 93%. He's virtually automatic. He had a 58-yarder last week in Carolina. Got it. Seattle 10 points off of 2 Oakland turnovers. The last one turned in. But right now, the incomparable Richard Sherman at the quarterback. First of the year, and the all-pro quarterback flies the other way. The defense did their job that time, Rich.
Yeah, I spoke with Jason Tarver last night, the Raiders defensive coordinator. He said they need to improve in sudden change situations. Just like we saw when you get a turnover, you're part of the field. They go out and they hold them to a field goal. That's a win for his unit.
Hauschka, 34-yard field goal moments ago. And here is his kickoff, and for the first time today, Carey's going to bring it out. Leonard gives him a block. Oh, he fumbled the ball, and it's right back to Hauschka, the kicker. Another turnover. The Raiders are disintegrating. 3rd Oakland turnover right into the breadbasket of the kicker, Hauschka. Now we'll see what kind of hands he had unless they dug it out. They're still unpiling the bodies. It sure looked like Hauschka was the one to get it. Was he strong enough to hold on to it? Yep, he was. But he wasn't expecting that today. Carey, he's a rookie. He bobbles it away.
Well, Jermaine Kearse, he's going to come in right there. You see, he's going to pop it out. T.J. Carey never feels it. Look at this gift. I mean, it literally bounces one time right into the breadbasket of Hauschka. But it all starts with a terrific effort by Jermaine Kearse. Boy, 3 straight turnovers. Talk about sudden change of possessions.
Raiders came in today -7, now -10. Seattle came in today +1, now +4. 1st and 10. Turbin in the backfield. Turbin takes it right down to the 28-yard line, and he was brought down by Smith on a gain of 3. Denver, New England, back to James Brown.
As expected, back and forth, Kevin. Talk about turnovers set up by a Peyton Manning interception to Rob Ninkovich. 4 plays. 34 yards later, that's Julian Edelman, who's been the best player in the field thus far tonight. And the Patriots retake the lead, 13-7 over the Broncos.
Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon.
Man, it's great. You know it's going to be that type of game when you get Manning and Brady together. It's going to be back and forth for 4 quarters and maybe even more.
Lynch back in. Here comes Mack. Luke Wilson, the tight end, couldn't get it. Coverage by the linebacker, Miles Burris. So a 2nd and 7 becomes a 3rd and 7 for Seattle.
Sometimes as a receiver and tight end, you jump too soon. Russell Wilson has to put some air on this because Mack is right in his face. But the tight end, he just got to keep running. You jump a little bit too soon, and that makes it difficult.
Wilson's missed his last 5. He had a wide open tight end health it last week in Carolina. Missed him on a short little pass. 3rd and 7. Wilson for Curse. Carey defending. No yellow. Incomplete. And again, the defense for the Raiders will hold that Seattle offense to a field goal try.
That's another big stop by the Raiders defensively. Tony Sparano's got to be happy with that. But offensively, Kevin, Seattle, I mean, they've got a bit of an imbalance right now. They're 2nd in rushing offense, and yet they're 30th in passing. And the more you watch them, you look at those last 6 or 7 throws from Russell Wilson, they're just not on the same page. The timing and rhythm simply not there in the passing game.
Hauschka is 4th here as a Seahawk kicker. This is a 46-yarder through the rain. And did not get it. Misses left. That is a big-time win in that particular segment for the defense. And Sparano, the interim head coach for the Raiders, 0-7 so far this team, coming up with a small moral victory right there. A miss from 46 and a timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bose, official sound of the NFL. MetLife, build a diversified portfolio with the MetLife Premier Client Group. And by the award-winning 2015 Honda CR-V, for wherever your next journey takes you.
Autumn in the Pacific Northwest. Not a very good resume so far for the Raiders.
It was a good start, but they've struggled since. They have to regroup. This is an important possession for Oakland.
Jones drew in the backfield, offers a block. They go outside. Marcel Reese, who played at Washington, around Sherman, upended as he takes it up to the Oakland 48 on a gain of 12 right there and a 1st down.
You know, this is not a team that's built to play from behind when you look at the Oakland Raiders. They're not running the football. Last week they threw it 54 times on the road against Cleveland. You're just asking for trouble. You're asking too much from the young quarterback right now. They've got to be able to get back in this game with a score and then have some balance. Be able to run the football some.
Play clock at 6. 1st and 10. Jones, Drew, wrapped up, gobbled up. No place to run right there for the smallish Drew. Hit by, on the play, Bennett, losing a yard back to the 47. And you're just trying to reclaim some confidence, too, if you're that Oakland offense, aren't you, after the turnover?
Well, you got a young quarterback that's feeling the pressure right now. You know, he's turned the ball over a couple times. Things don't maybe look clean to him. And you're Greg Olsen, the offensive coordinator. All you're trying to do is find a completion or two to get this guy back in rhythm.
2nd and 11. Carr off the fingertips and incomplete on the ricochet. Reese was covered by K.J. Wright. Here are the turnovers today for Oakland.
Yeah, just a high throw, not feeling the linebacker dropping in coverage, and this just was the receiver and quarterback not being on the same page. Costly fumble in the kicking game, and now the Raiders find themselves trailing 17-3.
Into the nickel, 3rd and 11. Oh, down, he may have fumbled, he did, but the ball was recovered by Oakland. A big-time play inside by Averill, who came off the edge, brought him down, loss of 5, sack on the play. Raiders have got a punt.
Well, you're just going to see the pressure, and it comes from Derek Carr's right side. He's stepping up. He's trying to buy some time, but right at the end, he just never feels the defensive end come off and lay him out. Cliff Averill, relentless in his pursuit of Carr.
Watson got the ball. Here is Marquette King. And again, we told you that Walter was cut deep back. They've got Doug Baldwin. And look where he's brought down. Terrence Parks, recently signed over the last 36 hours, comes up with the play. Nico Thorpe, the ex-Chief, is there. 53-yard punt, 2-yard loss on the return. But Averill, one of the players on that defense, which makes it flex with a big play. First down yet for Seattle the last 3 drives. Want to correct something I said moments ago. Larry Asante is the one who made the Raider special teams tackle. Larry Asante out of Nebraska. So here with that great special team stop from the 2, 1st and 10. This is Robert Turbin. Corkscrews by a couple, gets out in the grasp of Charles Woodson. He's out with a gain of 5 to the 7-yard line for the Seahawks.
Well, Seattle's definitely benefited from great field position and the turnovers so far in the first half, but they have struggled. I mean, you mentioned they had a first down in 5 drives. Not been good on 3rd down.
Turbin in the backfield, 2nd down and 5. And he was brought down on the play with Burris there along with Moore. A gain of 3 to the 10 to New York and James Brown.
Little guy with a big game. Told you he's the best player in the field tonight thus far for the New England Patriots right here. Benefit of a missed call right there. It looked like a block in the back by Tim Wright of the Patriots. Julian Edelman's going to gain 84 yards for the touchdown. That's his 4th career punt return for a touchdown. That's a franchise record. Patriots are up 20-7 over the Broncos.
Kevin and Rich.
Boomer had just said that Edelman's having the best year of any of those skilled players for the Patriots.
The more you can do in Bill Belichick's schemes. Great receiver, great return man. Julian Edelman having a terrific game.
Lynch gets the first down. He picks up a little more than 2 on that 3rd and 2. Lynch grinding it out. He's up to the 12-yard line where it's a first down for the Seahawks, and they would concede too. Their offense has been staggering at times this season.
Well, we talked about not having their Pro Bowl center in there, Max Unger. Talked to Tony Sperano, the coach of the Raiders last night. He said it affects the entire unit. They haven't played as well without him in the lineup.
Quickly outside, Richardson. Oh, and a nice defensive play by Burris, the linebacker out of San Diego State, and a loss of 3 and back to the 10-yard line of the Seahawks. He read it well.
He really did. I mean, he deciphered that. He's flying out there before Russell Wilson can even get the ball out of his hands. Richardson had no chance. That's just good recognition by the linebacker.
Richardson has a bigger role now that Harvin has been traded from the Seahawks.
And they're excited, just talking to some of the folks at practice on Friday, Kevin, they're excited about some of the young players on the perimeter. More opportunities now that Harvin is in New York.
5 defensive backs for the Raiders. 2nd and 13. Almost taken down. Chased here by Sims. And he got his receiver. That's Doug Baldwin at the 30. Covered by Ross. And he picks up 20 on the play. Extending it was Russell Wilson with nice footwork. First down, Seattle.
Well, he's so strong in the pocket, and he's a hard guy to sack. You wouldn't think so because he's not very big, but he's so strong in the lower half of his body. And then once he gets outside, watch him just point right there. He's going to point to the receiver Baldwin to tell him to slide back into that open hole. He's a terrific air traffic controller at the quarterback's position.
1st and 10. This is Christian Michael who takes it to the 29. Hit immediately on the play. It was Khalil Mack, throwing him for a 1-yard loss. That Mack is some kind of player. All right, coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report from New York, JB, Tony Park, Boomer, and Coach Cower with news, scores, and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football and NFL Network. That's coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. 2nd down, 11. Irvin is picked off the Raider quarterback for a touchdown interception, field goal, 3-yard touchdown run by Lynch. Here comes the quarterback in a 2nd and 11, and nice play there by Moore and Ross. And they throw him back for a 1-yard loss on the play. C.O. Moore, who is out of UConn, a 3rd-round pick, and he's back to the 27.
Well, you're going to see the action away, but just watch the linebacker be disciplined and keep outside contain on the quarterback. And they also have the safety, Ross, come down, so there's really nowhere to go with the football. Russell Wilson simply gets fooled in this situation. Good job diagnosing that by the linebacker and safety. You've got to be able to contain Russell Wilson. Set the edge. Force this guy to function and operate in the pocket, not outside the pocket.
Timeout taken on the 3rd and 13. Wilson will go talk over on the sideline. 4:27 to play in the first half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx One Rate. Simple flat rate shipping with the reliability of FedEx. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Some kind of shot right there tonight on 60 Minutes. Why would a Navy SEAL who's shot bin Laden be under investigation by our government? Plus country music's biggest star, Blake Shelton, only tonight on 60 Minutes. Hawks just called a timeout. Facing 3rd and 13, they need the 40. 6 defensive backs for Oakland, and their defense has played well. Here comes Moore. There goes Wilson. Chased now by Smith, and they have to throw it away. The defense again does its job.
They've had no answer. I mean, Russell Wilson, Kevin, a couple times now, he's just having to get outside and throw it away. Jason Tarver really has this group playing well. I mean, I know there's 17 points on the board, but you know, they've had to go out in the field and deal with 3 turnovers.
3 in a row.
I mean,
Until that last time with a 4 and punt.
They are playing well. A good job getting pressure, constant pressure on Russell Wilson.
John Ryan. Not long, not high, and takes an Oakland bounce. A decent beginning field position as Ryan, who was the NFC Special Team Player of the Month of September, did not get a good foot on that. The rain is coming down. I'm sure it fiddles with everybody who's got to hold that ball, whether you're punting or throwing.
Yeah, you know, there's a premium. You talk to the center each series. Make sure he's got a dry towel. Make sure that the center, when he gets up to the line of scrimmage, if it's a slick or wet ball, he can ask for another football.
Well, we knew it was going to rain, and I'm sure that you practice accordingly, right?
And actually, it rained in Oakland on Friday, so the Raiders got practice with the crowd noise. They also got practice with the wet ball drill because of the rain in the Bay Area.
Latavius Murray is in as a running back. 1st and 10, Carr. And I don't know who he was. I guess Denarius Moore. Looked like maybe a poor route. It overshoots Moore by a long way. Carr seems ticked off. And a lot you think, why did the quarterback throw so long? But a lot of times it's on the receiver, isn't it?
Yeah, no, let's go ahead and roll the old 22. I mean, you look at the receiver, and he's got to be able to set the angle high. And right after this, look how he flattens it. He flattens it behind the linebackers. Look at that deep opening. And that's really where it has to be. You can see, look at Carr. He's telling him, set the angle high so I can throw you the football.
Into the nickels, 2nd down, 10. Here they come, and there he goes, and Rivera can't hold on. There was incredible pressure by Averill. And Marcus Burley was back there too, but Averill already has a sack. Been very disruptive. It'll be 3rd and 10, and he's going up against the right tackle of that Oakland offense, and that is Khalif Barnes.
They don't even block him. I mean, this is tough. You know, you're asked, it's a lot to put on the young quarterback when you don't even block the team's best pass rusher.
And now it is Watson. Menelik Watson is in there. They go back and forth and rotate that tackle. 3rd and 10. They need the 49. Watson blocks here. Tompkins got caught up with Sherman's defense. There's no yellow on the field, although the former Patriot receiver, Cambrell Tompkins, thinks that there should have been a flag. Nonetheless, 3 and out, and the Raiders have got a punt.
Well, you got tight coverage. You see Sherman, he's right in the back pocket. I think what happens there is that the receiver, Cambrell Tompkins, just loses his footing. I didn't see any evidence of Richard Sherman grabbing and tugging on the receiver's jersey.
Marquette King into the rain and some breeze. Baldwin back, fair caught, 22, and a 39-yard punt. So our marquee matchup today was Russell Wilson against this Raider defense.
Yeah, we talked about how important it would be for Oakland to set the edge and contain Russell Wilson. In order to do so, they'll need all 11. The defensive line has to get off blocks and be disciplined with their eyes. Linebackers have to be able to rally to the ball and not fall for Wilson's pump fakes with the football. And finally, the secondary, especially the corners, you have to tackle well. The Raiders so far have been outstanding. All three levels of that defense, defensive line, linebackers, secondary, doing a good job forcing Russell Wilson to react quickly to the pressure.
Tight ends, Lynch in the backfield, 1st and 10. Marshawn Lynch hit by Moore, flag is down. He's out just past the 25-yard line. All kinds of guys stopping him right there, including C.J. Wilson, the former Green Bay Packer. Gain of 4. Here's Hockley.
Holding offense number 77. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's the first penalty on Seattle. You've done a big study of Marshawn Lynch and watched his season. He had 100-yard game. That was the first one against Green Bay here.
Yeah, this concerns you a little bit. You look at the lack of production from your best running back, but I think that, I don't say it was by design, Ken. I think they've been very cognizant of his carries and touches. They've also been in some tight games. They've been behind and had to throw the football. But now it's time to get him back on track, and you can see they're certainly trying to do that early in this one.
Lynch on 1st and 20, got by Woods, and then he was brought down. Big Pat Sims got a hand on him. Also Moore out near the 21-yard line. It is a gain of 9. The Harbin thing caught the league by surprise. Walk us through that from a Seattle standpoint.
You know, it simply didn't work out. A team like the Seahawks, you don't trade 3 draft picks, including a number 1 draft pick, to the Minnesota Vikings, sign him to a 6-year, $67 million contract, and then essentially get rid of him. And I think his agenda was more important than the team's agenda.
Well, you can't have that.
And that's when it's time to send him on his way.
2nd and 11. Lynch across the middle. Burris will grab him there. Meager gain to the 23, and he picks up about 4. So there's a culture here that's been established all the way from the ownership on down, and the feeling is, at least what you hear, is that the fit was not good.
It wasn't good. And, I give Pete Carroll and John Schneider a lot of credit for how they put this team together. This team has been built largely through the draft. They have their share of first-round standouts. You think about Thomas and Okung, but really where they've cleaned up is in the middle to late rounds of the draft. You think about Chancellor, a 5th rounder, and Sherman, a 5th rounder, and Russell Wilson, a 3rd rounder, to name a few. I mean, you look at the roster, it's sprinkled with 4th and 5th and 6th round players. And that's who they are. They want to build through the draft. They took a flyer on Percy Harvin, and it simply didn't work out.
That was a timeout taken by Oakland. Now there's a lot of talk about Lynch and where he may be in the future plans of the organization.
Well, according to our Jason Lockenfuller, I think I think most people seem to think this will be his last season in Seattle. And, I think that the player understands that this is going to be an important year for him, but I mean, there's still everything that they talked about back in June, July, and August. It's still right in front of them. They're a 4-3 football team that haven't played their best football yet.
Controlling their own destiny still.
Absolutely.
3rd and 8. Wilson, crumbling pocket. Luke Wilson, the tight end, taking the place of the injured former Raider Zach Miller. He twirls his way to the 40. It's a catch and run of 16. It's a Seattle first down on 3rd and 8. Luke Wilson with the catch, his 8th reception of the year.
Well, what happens is he's going to chip first, and then Woodson and the linebacker, they kind of run into each other.
1st and 10, wanting something deep for Wilson, and incomplete. And then they had Richardson. I don't know, was that for the tight end or was it for they were so close, and it looked like either could have had it.
They got a little bit of communication issue there for the Oakland Raiders on defense.
We are at the 2-minute warning. These are ways you thought the Raiders could win.
Yeah, they haven't been able to run the football. 10 carries for 13 yards. We talked about creating opportunities. They're giving away opportunities. They've turned it over 3 times. The one thing they have done is they've done a good job defensively. they're missing on those first two. Their ability to run the football and their ability to create some opportunities for their offense.
Lynch, chased by Ellis. Screenplay looking for blocks. Richardson gives him one. Chased by Ross and knocked out of bounds by Hayden. There he goes, flying the other way. Takes it as far as the 17 of the Raiders. A 43 flag is down. It might wipe out a 43-yard catch and run for Seattle. It is a hold. It will be against Seattle.
Holding offense number 10. That's a 10-yard penalty that's enforced from the spot of the foul.
Yep, spot foul.
Repeat second down.
That is the rookie receiver out of Colorado, Paul Richardson, who had a couple catches in his first start last week at Carolina. And they say he is as quick as a hiccup. Second down and 3 coming up.
You just watch him right in the middle of your screen. He's going to grab the outside shoulder pad of
Terrell Brown.
And really no need for it, but boy, how about Marshawn Lynch? Sometimes you can look at a back and it just looks like he has fresh legs. And Marshawn Lynch looks like he's well rested and ready to go.
Turbin went wide to the near side. Second down 3. That's a big time hit on Curse by Hayden, and he is flagged for the second time today. He had a PI earlier. There was a gain of 4 to about the 49. And boy, he's having all kinds of troubles today. Yep,
Tony
can't do
Soprano
it.
doesn't like it.
He lead with his helmet.
Here's a player that's amped up and hasn't played in a long while.
And I think he was wolfing after the play too.
Taunting.
Yep.
Defense number 25. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That just kills a team.
Well, they can't afford the self-afflicted wounds and expect to have a chance to win. The penalties, the missed assignments, the turnovers have been a killer so far for the Raiders here in the first half. Terrific tackle.
Yeah.
Now just go back to the huddle. Don't stand over the guy.
Turbin in the backfield, first and 10. Outside here for Baldwin, blocked by Curse, blocked by Richardson. Knocked out of bounds by Terrell Brown, former 49er. It's a gain of 4 in the catch and run down to the 30-yard line of the Raiders.
We see so much of this in the NFL nowadays. All these quick screens, these bubble screens. I mean, it's good for the quarterback's completion percentage.
It is.
You see some explosive plays, but defenses, I think, are doing a much better job. We saw a lot of this in college with the spread offenses. Coordinators are starting to incorporate some of it because you have these quick, speedy receivers, and you're just looking for the way to get the ball quickly.
Here's Turbin on second down and 6. He was tripped up by Mack and then lost his footing about the 21. Picking up 7. He does get the first down. And it also, Rich, negates any kind of pass rush. The quick release, you get it out of there, you're going to get the ball out in space.
Yeah, and it frustrates the defensive line, the pass rushers. It's hard to rush the passer for 60 minutes, especially when the ball's coming out so quick.
2 timeouts for Seattle from the 22. First and 10. Wilson out on the screws here for Turbin. TJ Carey, the rookie, defending. He's down to the 9. He has a gain of 13 and a first down for the Hawks.
Just look at him flick this ball. You know, he throws the ball so well in the movement. Look, just flicks it out there. And I don't think analysts talk enough about his arm strength. He's great mechanically. He's very strong in the lower half of his body. He's got big hands. He's got that high release point, and he's got great core strength. That's where he generates a lot of the torque and velocity on his throws.
Lynch is in. They'll run it here. He's getting the block outside by Helfet, who is a second-string tight end to the 6-yard line. And he was ushered out of bounds that time. It is a gain of 2 for Russell Wilson, who has had some big rushing games this season, over 100 yards in a couple of them.
Well, he'll keep you honest on the backside, and you just got to be very disciplined with your eyes. You start staring at that exchange, you think he's going to hand it to the back, and then all of a sudden he pulls it out.
He had a $122 in Washington on Monday night, 122 at 100 yards against St. Louis, 106 to be exact. Second down and goal at the 5. Lynch. Woo! That was too easy. His second touchdown today, a 5-yard romp, and Seattle extends their lead.
Man, this is going to be a big hole. Nice job up front. Look at this gap. I mean, that's impressive. And that's impressive for a back like Marshawn Lynch. Doing a good job up front with their double teams and coming off and getting up on the second level.
As we said, his last rushing touchdown before today, 6 weeks ago. He's had 2, 1 of 3, 1 of 5 yards. Hauschka. It's 24-3, the Super Bowl champions. Lynch, you're right. There was a seal here and a seal there. And he can walk in. Well, in New York right now, they're getting the Verizon halftime report ready for you with JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. Scores, news, highlights, and a preview of Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. That's next in the Verizon halftime report from our CBS studios. A look at Marshawn Lynch. 5 1,000-yard seasons came into today as the number 8 rusher. We can talk all about where he may or may not fit in the future, but he is about as identified with this team as any single player.
And he has that unique running style. He's more upright. He's got those big, powerful legs that keep churning. And he is a very tough tackle on the open field. I think you hear the Raiders, Kevin, 54 seconds left. You've got some timeouts. You need a big return here, and you need something. You need something good to happen before you go in the locker room at halftime. This is a team that needs to steal back some of the momentum in this game.
Carey fumbled last time he had it, looking for a block. Got it from Murray and then wrestled down by Marcus Burley at about the 37-yard line on a return of 42 yards, the longest this year by T.J. Carey, and Burley is the one to get him. All right, you've got 2 timeouts. You got a kicker with the big leg, and you've got it at your 37.
Yeah, you've got a kicker that's kicked 39 field goals of 50 yards or more since 2006. If you're Carr, you've got time now. Just can't take a sack in this situation.
Latavius Murray in the backfield, 1st and 10. Carr.
There you go.
And this is Tompkins. He's up to the 45. He was hit by Shed and by Sherman, although Shed spells his name S-H-E-A-D. It is Shed. 8-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 2. Second timeout taken by Oakland. 1 remaining. And so Carr will go to the sideline, and Janikowski readies himself with NFL Mobile. Stream live, local Sunday afternoon. Primetime games and NFL Red Zone right on your mobile device. Learn more at NFL.com/mobile as the rain continues to fall. Maybe, Rich, about as hard as it's fallen today.
Yeah, that doesn't make it any easier for these quarterbacks. But I think there was a good timeout there, Kevin. I think too many coaches make the mistake of not using a timeout in that situation and clocking. You burn too much time. There's other ways to stop the ball, to stop the clock offensively.
2nd down and 2. Murray is into the nickel. Here comes Bennett. Here comes Bennett. He'll run it. He's got the 1st down.
That's good, too.
He's got it by maybe the nose of the ball at about the 48-yard line of Oakland.
I really like Derek Carr, Kevin, just how he plays the game. You know, how he competes. He's made some mistakes early. He's not going to let that bother him.
Defense number 45. That's a 5-yard penalty that's enforced from the end of the run. 1st down.
I don't think there's a 45 on there. Maybe 35, which would be Shed.
Carr's got such a great attitude. Just in visiting with him last night, the hardest part's been the losing, and it certainly wears on him. But he just comes in every week. He tries to get better. He loves competing. He's taken ownership in this thing. He's taken on a more important leadership role with this football team. He's a talented player. He's a keeper. Now you got to build around him.
Raiders 1 timeout, 1st and 10. Carr and Latavius Murray. And he is brought down on the play very nicely by Mike Morgan. And a loss of a yard, led by the reserve linebacker for the Hawks in a timeout. The final one for the Raiders. Tony Sperano took over when they let Dennis Allen go in September 30th. They've gone 0 of 3 under Sperano, but they have been close in all 3 of those losses.
Well, he's trying to put his signature on this thing. I think one of the things in talking to Coach Sperano and Greg Olson and Tarver and the rest of the staff is they're talking about practicing better. It sounds crazy, Kevin. He said we had to learn how to practice. The tempo's been better. They're challenging the players. You know, they've adjusted the practice schedule. They're starting to work on third down on Wednesdays as opposed to waiting until Thursday. They're doing anything they can to help this football team become more competitive.
2nd and 11. Carr stands tall. Rivera hit from behind by Shed, replacing Chancellor down to the 45-yard line and picks up 4. And as they'll tell you, it always begins at practice, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Now they're
at this 3rd and 7. He spikes it, clocks it. So now it is 4th and 7. And Janikowski, who's got as big a leg as there is, may or may not come in here with 9 seconds to go. And let's see. He's kicked a 63-yarder before. I remember it well. It was in Denver. That ended the first half there, but it was thin air and no rain. It is rainy and heavy air here. They're going to go for it on 4th and 7. From last heave. Look at him. He wants to go for it.
Seabass has a look at him.
I can get that. Carr underneath. And the 6'2 running back, Latavius Murray, who's not played a whole lot. He is out of Central Florida, picks up 13, out of bounds, 3 seconds left, and now they'll get in a little bit tighter. They play it well. He gets out of bounds, and they'll try a Janikowski field goal.
Look at this. This, to me, is incredible that you give him that much space in this situation. You know they're not going to try and throw it to the end zone. They're just trying to gain another 10, 12. That was bad defense by Seattle. There's no way those cornerbacks should have been that far off the line of scrimmage.
51-yard try by Janikowski. And no good. They can't get 3 on the board before halftime. They turned it over 3 times. Carr was picked off twice. Janikowski unable to get from 51 his ball through the uprights. And losing 7 consecutive games, the Raiders will go to halftime trailing 24-3. We'll take you to New York right after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Raiders have had 3 turnovers. That is our halftime score with Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan, rainy Seattle. Well, what are your thoughts on the first half? And what now can the Raiders do to do something about the second half?
Well, Kevin, they're struggling running the football. They've got to do something to help the quarterback. They've got to be able to push the ball down the field a little bit. They just don't have a lot of explosive plays, and they haven't had them all season. But you look at Seattle and how well they have played, especially on the early downs with their defense. And the Raiders have tried to run the ball 11 times, but yet just 15 yards. McFadden, every time he touches it, seems like someone's right there. Bruce Irvin, they got so many playmakers defensively. Richard Sherman, you got to think twice when you throw in his direction. Again, the pressure, Cliff Averill, they have really come out of the gates in the first half and just played terrific Seahawk football defensively. Pete Carroll told us on Friday, you know, he's concerned about the injuries, but he felt really good about the week of practice and preparation.
Any specifics, Rich, for the Raiders, specifically what you'd like to see them do in the second half?
Well, Kevin, we talked about the keys to the game, running the football. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that. Some play action maybe on the first down. Seattle got hurt defensively last week against Carolina, the screen game. McFadden's a good screen runner. Can't get enough screens. And then finally, the Raiders, we talked about creating extra opportunities for the struggling offense. How do you do that? Well, somebody's got to make a play in the kicking game, and defensively, the Raiders have to come up with some turnovers in the second half to get back in this one.
Richardson with a head of steam on the Janikowski kickoff. Looking for a block. Easy gave him one, then he goes to the other side, and then he is wrestled out of bounds. Larry Asante with his second special teams tackle, making the stop. 36-yard return. Well, and some of the numbers.
Well, turnovers were a big part of it. You know, you won in the kicking game, and of course 2 interceptions, 2 first-half interceptions by Derek Carr. And to get back in this thing, this number has to change for the Raiders. They've got to be able to create some turnovers, some takeaways, some field position for their offense.
We have 2 quarterbacks in this game that began as rookies. Carr currently in that role, and Russell Wilson began as a starting quarterback in the NFL. His first year in, 1st and 10. Turbin out of the backfield. Ellis is chasing, Smith is chasing, and that goes out of bounds, which is interesting because we're seeing, it seems, more and more rookie quarterbacks able to make the transition from college to pro.
Well, I think it goes back to the fact that they're throwing the ball 35 and 40 times a game in high school. You know, look at the first half possession for Seattle, Kevin. They've had their own issues. You've got a 3 and out there. They've got some possessions where they've got good field position. They had to settle for a field goal. They missed a field goal. You just can't count on the turnovers against this Seattle offense because Russell Wilson doesn't make very many mistakes. Just 3 interceptions coming to this one.
2nd and 10 handoff. Not a whole lot there. Burris at the bottom of the pile, getting a hold of Lynch, and he picks up 3 to the 37. Is that because now the game has almost become the same high school to college to pro, where you're seeing spread offenses, shotgun formations, and there's not the big leap from stage to stage because the schemes are a lot alike?
I think by the time a guy like Derek Carr comes into the NFL, Kevin, he probably threw the ball 1,000 times more than I did, you know, in college and in high school. I mean, you know, it's a lot of reps, a lot of experience, a lot of reading coverages. These guys are so much further along than even 5'10".
Ooh, Hayden almost had that ball right in front of Richardson on that 3rd and 7. Hayden's the one who's been called for 2 long penalties. One a taunting and one a PI, pass interference. Anyway, 3 and out.
He would
and the
scored.
defense again. He would have been gone the whole
there.
way. He's fast.
And that's been the difference for the Raiders. They've had a difficult time taking the football away. Just 6 takeaways through the first 7 games.
To punt is Ryan. Oh, they got it! They got the ball, and there it is, loose, rolling to the 5, recovered in the end zone by Bryce Butler. That is a Oakland touchdown. The block may have come from Danico Autry. A block punt, a quick touchdown. Butler is the one to get it. Ryan has not had any block this year, but that is the 6th block in his career.
There's your man right there, Kevin. You said so. Autry, he's the one that they turn loose right inside. This is just too easy. We talked about the Raiders. How did they get back in this game? DJ Hayden just dropped an interception. They made the play that they had to in the kicking game.
They've looked at it. It is a touchdown. Janikowski's extra point making it 24-10. Little more than a minute of the second half. Sprono all fired up. Autry is the one to back down the Ryan punt, and then vacuumed in by receiver Bryce Butler in the end zone. Rich, you just talked about what the Raiders had to do to get back in plays like that with Autry blocking it and Bryce Butler retrieving it in the end zone, part of that strategy.
You know,
Kickoff.
When you're struggling, Kevin, your offense is struggling. You need defense or the special teams units to come up with a big play, and it's just what the Raiders got. We talked about the struggles in the running game. We talked about creating the extra opportunities. We checked that one off for the Raiders. And making Seattle one-dimensional, another check to 68 rushing yards.
I like what you've said too, Rich, about the defense of the Raiders. They've turned it over 3 times. They've been put in tough situations, but the defense has played pretty well.
Defense has played well. You know, 3 turnovers and resulted in just 10 points.
Asante has come in as an extra defensive back for the Raiders. He's out of your screen. 1st and 10. This is Texas A&M running back Kristen Michael, who is a 2nd-year player, has not carried a bunch, only 6 times coming into today. He picks up 7 right there. He's taken out of bounds by Moore and others.
Keep an eye on DJ Hayden. He's got a clean shot at the back. He just slips and misses. And that's what happens when you don't practice and play. He's had 1 padded practice. He's a former first-rounder that has missed a lot of playing time. He looks rusty. He's got some talent, though. He's got some instincts. We saw him jump that previous Russell Wilson pass on the previous drive. He's got some good instincts, just hasn't played a lot of football.
Bench in the backfield. Here comes Richardson on 2nd down and 3, tackled by Hayden, picks up 5. It was Khalil Mack who made the tackle on the last play, and that's a first down gain. On second down and 3, they'll put the ball at the 32.
Not easy to get a player ready that hasn't played a lot, Kevin. And so what they did with DJ Hayden was when he came off the PUP, they put him out there in practice and made him take scout team reps for a couple weeks. Last week they gave him 5 reps defensively, but he played 12 snaps in the kicking game. Just got to get used to the speed of the game again.
Raiders have gone to 4 in the secondary with the 1st and 10 for Seattle.
18, Friday.
It's Lynch. Tuguafu with a great block, the fullback. And he's down to the 48-yard line. Hit in the play by Mayoa. It's a 20-yard pickup, and a flag is down. He assigned this Tuguafu, who's out of Oregon, a 285-pound fullback. Derek Coleman, their regular fullback, lost for the season, broken foot at St. Louis. So they put some more beef back there. Ed Hockley.
Illegal motion offense, number 79, who was an eligible receiver, had reported, but he was going in motion off the line. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's an extra lineman they have in there usually, Gary Gilliam.
Yeah, here he is right here. Now, if he makes the mistake and he steps off and he's able to reset himself, right there. See, but he never resets himself, and that's a penalty.
Much to the chagrin of Pete Carroll. It's 1st and 15. Now 5 in the secondary for the Raiders. In the pistol, Michael. And brought down in the secondary by Larry Asante. It's a gain of 8 on the play. He's to the Seattle 35.
When you look at the first half possessions, and it's been kind of hit or miss for the Seattle Seahawks. A good opening drive, and then, of course, a 3 and out. And they get a couple turnovers, and they're not going to be happy with the fact that they had to settle for a field goal. They miss a field goal, but they're able to put together a drive there at the end of the half. It's tough when you're missing your left tackle. You're missing your starting center. You're missing your starting tight end.
Michael hit by Woodson and Burris on 2nd and 7. Gain of 2 to the 37. Yep, they were without 6 starters today, the Seattle Seahawks were, so they knew they had some numbers issues and some young players that had to step up.
And how that impacts them in the running game. I mean, they've been without tight end Zach Miller for the last month. You know, Oakland goes out in practice on Thursday and he tweaks a calf muscle. You look at Unger, he's been out for a while. He played the first 4 games, and now he's missed the last 4 games. So, but he's close. He'll be back next week. That's going to make a world of difference for them in the middle of that offensive line.
Okun is out. Coleman is out. We talked about 3rd and 5. From behind, they got him, but he got the ball away. It was caught by Baldwin. The hit by Ross. A gain of 7 on 3rd and 5 to the 44. And Russell Wilson, who took a hit, gets the first down pass away, and they move the chains.
He just has such patience. Antonio Smith is so close here. He spins out and he's got it right. Oh, and then Russell Wilson kind of slides to his left. He is such a difficult guy to sack.
Lynch is in, 1st and 10. Oh, and he's got him. Wilson. Luke Wilson holds the ball, or did he drop it? Incomplete. Waved off across the way. Charles Woodson was there watching for Luke Wilson.
Well, this was tight. He tries to fit this in between 3 defenders, and he just never able to get his hands around it.
That was the definition of threading the pass. Oh, there was a lot of white around him. A lot of white jerseys of the Oakland Raiders. 2nd down and 10. Jason Tarver, the defensive coordinator. It's Lynch. On his stacked up. Matt got him after he was hit initially by Wilson. It is a gain of 2, and the gain is to the 46-yard line of Seattle.
You know, every time we do a Raiders game, Kevin, you know that I ask to speak with defensive coordinator Jason Tarver. I mean, he is a guy that gets me fired up for the meetings, and he's a master motivator. You know, he knows that he's got a lot of young players that are playing on that side of the ball, but he is intense. And he told me last night that he feels they're close. And they're learning how to play together within the scheme. Major turnover on that side of the ball this season.
3rd and 8. Lynch with the block, buying time, and they're going deep. And they're looking for Baldwin with Richardson right there. Coverage by Ross and by Nico Thorpe. We're seeing some other faces in that Raiders secondary. Nonetheless, Tarver's defense does the job. And once again, a punting situation for Seattle.
And where they're better is they're much more sound. When you put the tape on Monday, you don't see blown coverage. You don't see communication errors. You don't see guys not doing a good job with contain. They have been very sound. And now they're starting to make plays.
Ryan the punt and Denarius Moore is back. The 12, end time for 7-8, 42-yard punt. So let's take a look at rookie quarterback Derek Carr. When we come back, they're down 24-10, NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Domino's. Visit Domino's.com. And by the agile all-new Audi Q3. Stray the course.
Winless Raiders were looking for some motivation, so their coach showed them something from the preseason to get them geared for today.
Yeah, their last win was against Seattle in the preseason in Oakland, and it was Derek Carr's kind of coming out party. He played well in that one against Seattle's ones.
It is a 1st and 10. McFadden, there was a block by Leonhardt. He is brought down in the linebacking core by KJ Wright. He picks up 4. He's up to the 16.
And this is where the Raiders have to get better with some of these outside, these perimeter runs. Kevin, I wouldn't bang my head against the wall trying to run the ball in the early downs against Seattle. They have struggled to do that in the first half. I'd play action. I'd mix in some screens, some quick throws. Got to do something on first down. First down's been a real problem so far for the Raiders.
2nd down, 6. Marcel Reese. He squirts through and is brought down by Thomas. A gain of 10. A 1st down to the 26. We take you to New York with an update on the Broncos and Patriots.
Denver narrows the gap. After a Brady interception, Peyton Manning's going to find Julius Thomas. That's his 10th touchdown reception of the year. 27-14. Denver's going to make a game of it here in the second half, Rich.
Man, you got a tight end like that? I love tight ends.
Oh, I know you do.
You know, and when you have one, it makes your life so much easier in that part of the field.
1st and 10 from the 26. Carr threw it away into a pile, incomplete, or had the whistle blown before?
Oh, he heard a whistle.
He heard a whistle. But did he just?
Then you wonder if they're going to call intentional grounding because he just threw the ball away and there was nobody there. He's asking if
you blow a whistle? Yeah.
That looked really unusual.
It did.
It was a shuffle pass. It was an incomplete pass on the play. There was a receiver in the area. 2nd down.
It almost looked like he was just backing away from it because, like you said, he thought he heard a whistle. That's what the noise in this place can do to you.
Well, clearly there was some confusion here. I don't know about a shuffle pass at all.
I didn't see a receiver either. 2nd and 10. McFadden wrapped up and brought down. Averill, he's played a very good game again. Loss of 2, back to the 23.
You just feel for McFadden. Kevin, he's had no chance. I mean, how many times has McFadden gotten the ball and a Seattle defender has hit him in the backfield? Penetration has killed McFadden runs. Just seems like when McFadden's back there.
This is the number 5 defense. You saw the sound machine right there. 2nd down and make it 3rd down and 12. Carr. He's got to get to the 36. He's chased out of bounds across the way by Kevin Pierre-Louis, who is a rookie out of Boston College. He picks up 6 when he needed 12, and the Raiders have got to punt the ball. Five and punt for Oakland. Good coverage by Seattle. Richards no place to go with the ball.
It was not a good series for the Raiders. Terrific job by Seattle getting off the field.
Marquette King. Doug Baldwin is deep. Like I said last week, in Carolina, it was Sherman. He gets by one. That was Thorpe. And then he is brought down on the play by Dowling. Coming in with a nice play, Jonathan Dowling. 55-yard punt, 2-yard return. Back in Seattle, rain is still falling. It has the entire game. 2 touchdown runs by Marshawn Lynch. 3 Raider turnovers. A block punt touchdown for Oakland. 5 and punt moments ago for the Raiders. Here's Lynch on 1st and 10. Looked like C.O. Moore got him from behind along with Woodson and Mack. They all had a hand on that one. It's a gain of 3 for Marshawn. He's up to the 17-yard line, and this is the way the West looks. Arizona won today in Dallas.
Yeah, they've got a 2.5 game lead, and it's interesting. So much talk before the season about San Francisco and Seattle and who's the best team in the West, and now Arizona. They've done it with a number of different quarterbacks. Carson Palmer has been banged up at times during the season, and a number of significant injuries defensively.
2nd and 7 incomplete. Maybe for Baldwin, maybe for Lynch. They were in the vicinity. It's incomplete. It's 3rd down and 7. And the division schedule is right there with 2 against the Cardinals and obviously 2 against the Niners.
And Seattle just needs to get healthy, Kevin. We talked about 6 starters out, and you look at where they're at offensively. I mean, I think you're going through a little bit of a transition. Without Percy Harvin, and, without their starting center and left tackle and tight end, and it's put more pressure, more responsibility on Russell Wilson.
It's 3rd down and 7.
Penalties, pre-snap penalties.
False start offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
Just talked about Russell Okung. His replacement, Alvin Bailey, 2nd-year player. Played a little guard last week when James Carpenter went out with a back injury.
He's been the extra blocker in the jumbo package, but like you say, playing the left tackle. He's from Arkansas, and his dad played some basketball down at Arkansas, so he gets all that size. 3rd and 12.
Charles Woodson up on the line of scrimmage.
They like him up there. In fact, by Woodson being up in the box, Rich, they've been better, the Raider defense has, against the run.
And he's a very good tackler.
False start offense, number 65.
He's taking turns now.
Patrick Lewis.
5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
That's the new center.
And we haven't really talked much about Lewis today, Kevin. That's a good thing. We talked about him at the beginning of the game, but he has played well.
First start.
Yeah, he's no problem with the quarterback center exchange, and been pretty good with the penalties. So now maybe he forgot the snap count. They're jittery right now.
Unger dressed, as you see, injured in Washington in early October. Here's a 3rd and 17. They need the 24. Lynch had a bunch of it, didn't he? Then he was finally brought down by both Woodson and Khalil Mack. He picks up 11. It's 4th and about 6. But, the Woodson, again, just finishing that up, Tarver and Sperano have put Woodson up much now closer to the line of scrimmage. It's paid off.
Well, he can play it at that level, the defense. I mean, he's a great cover. He still can cover. He's a great blitzer, and he's a very good tackler down around the line of scrimmage.
Ryan, who's had one blocked, will boot this for the Hawks with the rain falling. Not long, not high, and taken by Carey, who had a bad ankle early on. He broke one tackle of Shed. Here he comes to some of these plays. Rich is talking about. Turbin, the running back, brings him down. They bring him down at the Seahawk 30. Longest punt return this year for the Raiders. The hang time was only 3.6, so it sets up the return well.
What happens is the quick turn right there, the sudden change of direction going from his left to his right was really what sprung him. But Kevin, I just looked down at my list. TJ Carey, ankle out. He's just hasn't played a lot of defensive snaps here in the second half, but that was a huge play. Great field position now for the Raiders.
Raiders have it 1st down and 10 from the 30. starting a drive in opponent's territory for only the 4th time this season, an NFL low. Carr slings it off. McFadden breaking a couple tackles, getting a block from his tight end, and down he goes. Brought down on the play by a host of defenders, including Sherman and K.J. Wright from the linebacking core. 23-yard pickup, first down.
Well, this is what they want. They just find a way to get McFadden the ball in space. Little play action. We talked about how important it would be in the early downs. This is where McFadden can really hurt you in the open field. Great vision, great speed up on the second level.
First and goal to go. Their longest play today puts them at the 7 of Seattle. McFadden, a block by Reese, and he plies his way near the 5. On a gain of 2, right into the heart of that defense. There's K.J. Wright getting off the pile, along with a couple others on that line. Greg Scruggs is down there defensively for Seattle.
I think Greg Olsen does a great job. You know, he's had to coach a lot of young players. Last year it was Terrell Pryor and Matt McGloin. This year it's a rookie quarterback and Derek Carr. He does a good job tailoring his scheme, his plan, to fit the strengths of the signal caller. You see them move Marcel Reese out now.
Second and goal at the 5. Carr, Moore. He ran the wrong route again. He was guarded by Sherman. He kept going, but the ball was a back shoulder throw near the pylon.
Kevin, why would you do this? Here's a guy in Moore who hasn't played a lot in the last month, and this is the best cover corner in football. Does a great job with his eyes locating the throw. I wouldn't pick a fight with this guy. There's too many other places to work on the field. I'm not suggesting you stay away from Richard Sherman the whole day, but that's not a good matchup. Sherman's about 6 inches taller than Moore.
Third and goal at the 5. Carr, James Jones, he was hit by Thomas. He picks up 4, he gets to the 1. 4th and goal at the 1 for Oakland.
Just a little under route to James Jones, a short-handed receiver, just really nice tackle. He's just going to come up a little bit short. The Raiders have to go for it in this situation.
Like
when you're 0-7, you've got nothing to lose.
Absolutely. I like that play call.
I did.
4th and goal at the 1. What would you call here, Rich?
Play call down. Chance to hand it to McFadden.
Fake handoff to Tompkins. Carr caught by Rivera. That is a touchdown. What a terrific touchdown reception by the tight end, Michael Rivera. And the Raiders are back in business.
Well, look at him, he's just fading away, and he just keeps this play alive. They covered the initial back. That was McFadden. Question is, does he get both feet down in the back of the end zone? You see he gets his knee and leg down. That's going to be good. And clearly he gets that right leg down.
How about the rush, forcing Carr way back? And he throws Carr, if it stands, his 10th touchdown pass of the season.
Tony Sperano has this team believing that they can go on the road and win.
Janikowski makes it 24-17. So they block a punt and they get a touchdown. They return a punt, 27 yards, and McFadden got him in good beginning field position. Oakland has scored 14 unanswered points, and interim coach Tony Sperano likes what he...
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And by Fidelity Investments. Tap into the full power of your Fidelity Green Line.
So Michael Rivera, who cashes in on a touchdown pass by his quarterback Derek Carr. 1-yard touchdown throw. Rivera, a 6th-round pick out of Tennessee. Richardson lets it go astride and out of the end zone. Touchback there. Carr got pressure. Rivera got down. And it's a 7-point game. Winless Oakland and the Super Bowl champs. Russell Wilson is only 2 of 7 in the second half.
Well, look at those numbers, Kevin. Seattle's offense, they've been held without a first down on 5 of their 9 drives. They've had 2 3-and-outs here in the second half. Struggling.
And there he's being pressured. Wilson was after him through the hands of his fullback, the newest, or at least on offense, Will Tukuafu. And that's incomplete. It's 2nd down and 10. They brought him in when Derek Coleman was injured, but you step back and look at Seattle's overall struggles this season. They had lost 2 in a row before their win last week in Carolina.
And what a difference a year makes. I mean, last year at this time, Kevin, it just seemed so easy for the Seahawks, didn't it? I mean, they raced off to that 11-1 start. It seemed easy for them. And then this year, it's a much different story. Games have been much more competitive. In fact, they've been playing from behind a lot. I think it's a much different feeling if you're out on that field. Last year was about applying pressure. This year, I think they're feeling some pressure.
2nd and 10. They got Norwood. And he was knocked down by the defending Terrell Brown. But they get the first down to the 39, and they pick up 19.
Well, the thing I do know about Russell Wilson, the tighter the game, the better he seems to play. You know, you look at him, and nothing seems too big for him. I think he does such a great job. He's a guy, Kevin, that respects the game and respects the process of getting ready for the game.
Norwood with his 4th reception of the season. This is Lynch, who meets a big wall, including Benson Mayowa, who played for Seattle and got a ring, actually, last year with the Seahawks franchise. It is a gain on the play of about a yard to the 40-yard line. He played 2 games, Mayowa did, a season ago.
And the rain is really starting to come down now.
It is, isn't it? It is. Now, okay, what's that do as the game goes on, and do you alter what you want to do offensively? Do you play different defensively?
Well, the benefit that the Seahawks have, certainly they're used to, they practice and play in this type of weather, but they've got a quarterback that's got big hands. Does a great job taking care of the football in the pocket.
Big shoulders, too. Here's a handoff. Lynch climbing his way to the 46. It's a gain of 6 on the play to New York, and James and Boomer.
New England. Speaking of big hands and big shoulders, how about Tom Brady? 10 points in the last 19 seconds. That comes off of Peyton Manning's 2nd interception. That's Brandon LaFell. Patriots take the lead, 37-14. Simply remarkable what they do. Back to Kevin and Rich.
Always is. We have a player down. Thank you, guys. A player down for Seattle at the 50. Looks like a lineman. Or is that? I can't. You know what?
Carpenter.
Carpenter. It is. You're exactly right. James Carpenter, their left guard, a #1 pick out of Alabama a couple years ago. Of course, they had changes already coming into the season on the line. Giacomini, who was their starting right tackle, he left and went as a free agent to the Jets.
We saw him last week.
Wonder if he's regretting that move. Hey, Week 9 continues with Sunday Night Football at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. And then tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN and Westwood One Radio. It'll be myself and Boomer Esiason. Third right after Softy Muller on KJR here in Seattle.
This will make Pete Carroll and John Schneider sick. You know, they've had a slew of injuries that really along that offensive line we've been talking about, center and left tackle, now left guard.
So they've got Gilliam, who's a rookie free agent out of Penn State, taking his place. 3rd and 3. Lynch was in the backfield. Oh, they got the backpedaling tight end who could not get the ball, but a flag across the way. Incomplete to Luke Wilson. Flag in the far side. And they have Brown and Ross over there defending for the Raiders. They have been on, they're going to say it's on Seattle.
Holding. Defense number 23.
Excuse me. We had one official pointing one way.
Automatic first down.
It is against the Oakland Raiders. It was one official who came running pointing one way, and then they changed it and overruled him.
They're way up top. Now they come, he grabs him. Yep.
Sure did, yep. Grabbed Richardson. Terrell Brown, he should know better. 8 years in the NFL.
Well, actually, when you think about it, it's probably the right play, Kevin. That could have been, he didn't know it. You got a guy running right by him in the secondary. He didn't get him the touchdown. He's going to grab him.
Hayden is now playing this cornerback. Whether they have 4 or 5, they've got the nickel back there now for the Raiders. It is a 1st and 10 from midfield for Seattle. Lynch in the flat by Carey, looking for a block. He got one by Richardson downfield. There goes Lynch inside the 10. Hit by Moore. Catch and run, a 39 for Marshawn Lynch. First and goal, Seattle.
Kevin, they ran this play earlier, you remember, and it got called back because of a penalty on the receiver. But when you make the first defender miss in the screen game, that's where the explosive plays show up. And Marshawn Lynch, great patience. You see Charles Woodson, he misses the tackle, and Marshawn Lynch off to the races.
Big time day, big numbers. First and goal, Lynch is out, Turbin is in.
Oh,
they sure do. Yeah, he was running like crazy. Was it a timeout?
Timeout, Seattle.
It was.
That's their first.
They'll take their first. Rain continues to fall. Pete Carroll and his team being pushed against the wall by a winless Oakland team, the only winless team in the NFL right now. And they've lost 13 straight going back to last year. Saturday, the SEC on CBS brings you the best games from the best conference with a day-night doubleheader. First, Texas A&M takes on Auburn. Then in primetime, Alabama takes on LSU. It all begins with Inside College Football and College Football Today. Every time I say that up here in the Pacific Northwest, I keep thinking that Keith Jackson might be watching.
Oh, yeah.
And to let him know that he was my idol growing up. He was college football, and he loved the SEC, and I'm sure that he still follows it to the day.
You knew it was a big game if you heard the voice of Keith Jackson.
First and goal at the 10. Lynch is back in. Oh, they come up the middle. Ross has got him. Ross brings him down. Brandon Ross, who was signed off the Miami practice squad. He's replacing Usama Young, who was replacing Tyvon Branch. In a flag. They're pointing. There was not a flag, but they're pointing as if one should have been thrown. Like was intentional grounding.
Well, Wilson was in the area.
I thought so,
there
too.
was a receiver in the area, number 82. No intentional grounding.
But there was not a flag thrown, it should be noted.
Well, they've got them all covered up inside, but here's where the pressure comes off the edge. Both the linebacker and the safety, and you see there's, well, you can see the tight end. He was certainly in the area.
6 seconds to play in the third. Second and goal at the 10. It's Lynch. To go out through trying to throw a block, and he was brought down nicely by Mack. This may be the defensive rookie of the year. Losing 2. Goal to go when we come back. Raiders within 7. Pretty good third quarter for the Oakland Raiders, Rich.
Yeah, really. A couple big plays in the kicking game got them back in this, and they refused to go away. And Pete Carroll frustrated. They have not been able to put the Raiders away here in the second half.
It'll be third and goal at the 12. The 8th play of the drive. The big play, a 39-yard catch and run by Marshawn Lynch. They also got a 19-yard pass to Norwood after beginning the second half with 3 consecutive punts.
They found their rhythm, certainly in this drive. A couple big plays by Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch.
Third and goal at the 12. Wilson blitzes on. Incomplete for Curse. The coverage by Hayden. It's 4th and goal, and they'll try for 3. Raiders do their job defensively.
Well, you're going to see the pressure. They've been coming and heating up Russell Wilson here. He holds it as long as he possibly can, but because he has to get rid of it early, he's not able to make the throw in the back of the end zone. Good pressure from the Raiders.
Hauschka. He'll try a 30-yarder. You see his day. Missed from 46, hit from 34, and drills one from 30. The key on that drive, Oakland had a penalty, a holding call on 3rd and 3. It kept the drive alive, but the defense holds them out of the end zone. They're within reach. 10-point game, early 4th quarter. Well, wild game. 10-point lead for the defending champs.
Yeah, you know, obviously every possession now for the Raiders, Kevin, critical. They're trying to get back in this football game. But what's kept them in this game have been big plays in special teams. They could use another one here from T.J. Carey.
Hauschka. Carey will leave this in the end zone. To the 20 on a touchback. 1st and 10. Earlier today in the NFL, big news out of Dallas. Big day for Carson Palmer. No Tony Romo for the Cowboys. 7-1 Arizona leading the division. Mark Sanchez takes the place of Nick Foles. And they beat Houston. And Ryan Tannehill, a big-time win and a dominant victory over the San Diego Chargers. And by the way, the father of Joe Philbin had passed away. He missed practice, but his team did not miss a beat. 37-0 Miami.
Wow, that's impressive. A huge win. Tannehill, Kevin, you keep an eye on him the last month of the season. He has really played well, really since that game in London.
The block by Penn, but now they come around, and it's an incompletion. It was Schofield who came around. Penn initially held him off. Carr hesitating. They got his arm incomplete. It's 2nd down and 10 for the Raiders. That kid right there, pretty good play. O'Brien Schofield.
You know, really where they're at their best is when they're playing with the lead. They can pin their ears back, rush 4, and get pressure on the quarterback.
Reese Jones-Drew is in there, 2nd down and 10. Jones-Drew, trailed by Irvin. Hit on the play by Coyle. They read it well. They drive him back. He loses 2 to the 18-yard line.
My goodness, I've never seen so many negative runs in a game. I mean, look at where's Maurice Jones-Drew supposed to run the football? A lot of team speed on defense. You look at that Seattle group. They play fast. They tackle well. They take good angles to the football. And they all run to the ball with a sense of urgency.
Nichols secondary, 3rd and 12. Carr. James Jones hits by Burley. Spun down and hit by Wright. He works his way to the 26. They're 4 shy of the 1st down. It's a 3 and out. The Raiders have got a punt.
Well, the Raiders haven't really had the opportunity, Kevin, to throw the ball down the field. And they just don't have a lot of big explosive plays. Only 15 plays of 20 yards or more. They're dead last in football. No explosive plays from their offense.
Marquette King to punt to Baldwin. Knifing through the rain, gets off a rocket. And Baldwin back to the 15. Hang time of 4-2. Doug Baldwin breaking tackles. Gets by Reese. Brought down from behind by the Raiders' Jamar Chaney. A 38-yard return by Baldwin.
Isn't this great? I mean, your leading receiver with 29 receptions, and look at this play he makes in the kicking game. Talk about vision. Talk about elusive. Tenacious. I love Doug Baldwin.
Last week in Carolina, we've mentioned this already a couple times, but it bears noting because they were giving Baldwin kind of a rest.
Sherman,
and they put Sherman back there.
Yeah, they've really, they've a difficult time settling on a punt returner.
That's Seattle's long punt return this season. Number 47 of the Raiders. It's Lynch on 1st and 10. Pumping, grinding, nothing. Brought down by Brown, who initially held on. And then Ellis was there. He's a good-looking rookie, as we've talked about. No gain on the play. It is 2nd down and 10. Tomorrow on NCIS Los Angeles, a new case will open old wounds. Don't miss a dramatic new NCIS Los Angeles. On its new night tomorrow, 10/9 Central, only CBS. With Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan. Seattle's 2nd down and 10.
Jason Tarver and his unit, they need to come up with a splash play. He's got to find a way to get the ball out.
Right through the hands of Kearse on the slant. Ross was there, Hayden in the vicinity, a lot of good coverage. Just off the mark. I asked you this at the top of the broadcast. I'll ask you now that you've watched him in person, your thoughts on Wilson, his overall quarterback play compared to the last couple of years.
Kevin, I see a quarterback that looks so comfortable in the scheme. And, it's not like it's overly complicated. I think they just, nothing fancy even this week. It's about them. They focus on core concepts and plays in the game plan. As I mentioned, he's a great decision maker. Doesn't make a lot of poor decisions, He doesn't put his team in bad position.
Into the dime, 3rd and 10. Here comes the pressure. He got by Moore, and here he runs. He's got the first down. Slides down to the 28. And the escapability is the one thing that's tough to account for. Running for 19, moving the chains. Seahawks have it 1st and 10.
Well, this is what you get with a smart quarterback. Go ahead and run it. When he sees man-to-man coverage, Russell Wilson knows it's a 5-man rush. Now go ahead and freeze it. He sees everybody with their back turned in coverage, and now you've got this big opportunity to make a run. A great play by Russell Wilson.
1st and 10, 2 tight ends. Lynch may have tripped over his own lineman's leg. Hit on the play by Mayoa and others coming through, losing 3 on the play as the quarterback.
Look at Antonio Smith. My goodness.
Got right over Gilliam, who's continuing to take the place of the injured Carpenter. We don't have a word yet on Carpenter, by the way. There's Smith.
Yeah, you get a starter in there and you see a backup player come in there and your eyes light up a little bit. You start taking advantage of him. You get underneath his shoulder pads, you walk him right back into the running back.
He's got an ankle injury. Questionable return. 2nd and 13. Screenplay, Lynch looking for a block. He got it downfield and he tumbles his way near the 20. Sweezy was out there. J.R. Sweezy leading the way. Flag thrown on the far side.
An eligible receiver downfield by the offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd
76.
down.
Oh, we got news. Russell Okun is back. It was not 76. Russell is inactive today.
You're mean, Kevin.
Well,
give him a break.
No. I'm trying to figure out who it would have been. Could it have been Gilliam?
No, I think it was Gilliam.
I think it might have been Gilliam, too.
Somebody gets...
He just is 79. He corrected. We're just having a little fun. They're going to bring Turbin back out. I love the comment by Wilson who says, I want to be like an NBA point guard, and the guy I'm thinking of is Tony Parker. I want to distribute the ball like Tony Parker does in San Antonio's offense. 2nd down and 18. Out quickly. Baldwin passes by Carey, then forced out of bounds by Burris and by Brown. He picks up 4. He's down to the 32.
We were talking about Russell Wilson, Kevin. Great awareness of what's going on around him. I've always appreciated that, but he said something to me on Friday that really got my attention. It was important enough for me to write down. He said, I don't get bored with consistency. And that's really what he's all about. He's a creature of habit when it comes to his preparation during the week. He talks about a checklist. His attention to detail. He's in that category with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Guys do a great job during the week preparing to win on Sunday.
Slant Richardson. Brought down hard. Moore got a hold of him. Got it after a 10-yard gain on 3rd and 14. 4th and 4. The defense again, Rich, only allows Seattle a chance for a 3.
Yeah, field goal here. It stays a 2-possession game.
It does, yes.
They're playing hard defensively. It hasn't been perfect, but the defense has kept this team. The defense and the special teams have kept the Raiders in this game.
How about the exchange here from the long snapper to the holder with the rain coming the way it is?
Well, Gresham and Ryan, I mean, you make sure that you get a good snap and a good hold.
From 41. He got it. He's nailed him from 30, 41, 34. And he extends the lead 30-17 over Oakland.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by National Car Rental. Go national. Go like a pro. Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. And by State Farm. Pump up your savings with a discount double check today.
The Raider defensive rank maybe middle of the pack, but they against the Super Bowl champs have put up some nice fight and allowed some field goals when some would let up touchdowns.
Kevin, we just talked during the break, you and I, about the effort and the intensity from this Oakland defense. I mean, they really played hard. They really competed.
Hauschka, who just put in a 41-yard field goal, kicks us out of the end zone, touchback to the 20-yard line. And next Sunday, the NFL on CBS showcases single-header action Ryan Tannehill leads the Dolphins against Matthew Stafford and the Lions. Rich and I will be in New York for the Steelers going up against the Jets, and Peyton Manning and the Broncos battle Derek Carr and the Raiders. Check local listings beginning with JB, Tony, Bart, Coach, and Boomer on the NFL Today. Crowd is into it now. Rain continues to fall. Almost 9 to play in the fourth. 2-score game lead right now. Seattle 30-17. First and 10. Carr. McFadden chased by Coyle, hit by Thomas, and he is a missile in the Hawks secondary. Knocks him out of bounds. A catch and run of 11. Let's go to New York and James Brown.
Kevin, New England continues to roll. What a game by Rob Gronkowski. 8 catches, 96 yards. This touchdown pass right here. Tom Brady and his mates putting a beating on the Denver Broncos. 43-21 New England over Denver.
Convincing indeed. Kevin and Rich.
Thank you, guys. First and 10 after McFadden caught it and ran 11. Blocked by Penn. Outside McFadden again, shoved out of bounds by K.J. Wright, the leading tackler. It is a gain of 2. He's up to the 36.
Boy, K.J. Wright, he's a terrific player. You know, started the last 2 games, the middle linebacker position, now back at his normal position, the weak side linebacker position. They're beat up inside. Bobby Wagner, turf toe. Malcolm Smith, who moved inside, groin injury last week. Brock Coyle has been playing a lot. Here, Lewis.
There are 4 defensive backs. It is second down and 8. McFadden has a hole. McDaniel will jump on him. I haven't called his name a lot, but he's been there in the fray. A 3-yard gain. They'll put him at the 37.
Well, they have the ability to roll fresh bodies through. You see McDaniel come out, Mebane come out.
Rich, aesthetically, the Raiders are a better team, aren't they, in the last month?
Well, I think a couple things, Kevin. I think the play of the defense and the quarterback continues to improve.
Third down, 5, and they're looking for Holmes. It's incomplete. The coverage by Marcus Burley. Nice play right there. Now, Carr has missed his last 8. It's 4th and 5. I don't know if they even thought about going for it, but they do send the punting team out there.
Well, you know, look, it's still pretty early in the game, Kevin. You got over 7.5 minutes to go, and you've got all 3 timeouts. I think you got to punt it in this situation. If you go for it here and you don't get it, and Seattle's able to even get another field goal, it just makes it that much more difficult for them to even get back into this game.
It's Marquette King to punt. He's out of Fort Valley State. Deep back is Baldwin. Remember, he returned the last one 38 yards. Waves it off. The roll. And they will down at Nico Thorpe inside the 10. That's a 55-yard punt. Russell Wilson and his Seahawks on top 30-17. 2 consecutive scores by Seattle, both field goals. You just saw a punt after 4 plays by the Raiders from the 9. 1st and 10. Robert Turbin winds his roll, and he stays alive with a vault that puts him at the 26. Great effort. 17-yard run, and a good one by Robert Turbin out of Utah State.
Well, he's a determined runner, and just you watch Ross. He comes in first. He gets knocked back. Carey comes in. Got to get lower than the back.
And a timeout, or was it injury timeout? He's not injured. He's just relaxed. I think it was a Raider. It was a Raider. It was Brandon Ross, who, as you can see, is being helped off. And they bring in then another defensive back, Larry Asante, who has been seeing off and on time in the Raiders secondary today.
He came in for the tackle, and then
he sure did. Oof.
He gets hit right in the
head. Helmet to helmet. You could feel that up here.
You've got the team orthopedics over there. I know that because one of them worked on me.
Helped you with your broken neck. 1st and 10. The fake, and it was Russell Wilson who takes it the other way and knocked out of bounds by Asante Wilson. So crafty, picks up 7 to the 33. News in the NFC West, and for that we take you to New York and James and Boomer.
San Fran going for the win.
Rich and Kevin, check this out. 3rd and goal, 10 seconds left to go in the game. Colin Kaepernick tries a QB sneak. He fumbles the ball. It's recovered by James Laurinaitis. The St. Louis Rams go in and beat the San Francisco 49ers 13-10. A big upset.
Back to Kevin Harlan.
The screws tightened a little bit in the West.
They just showed that score on the board here in Seattle. The fans went crazy. They love it.
It's Marshawn Lynch. Moore got a hand on him on that 2nd down and 3. He picks up 2. He's near the 35. And Ross, by the way, is coming back out on the field right now. Brandon Ross is.
Well, the Raiders take a timeout there, and they're trying to, again, they're down by 2 scores. They want to get the ball back. This is a big 3rd. You see the head coach, Tony Sperano, talking to Jason Tarver, the defensive coordinator. Need to stop here.
When he took over for Dennis Allen, they had that ceremony about burying the first part of the season, so he literally got a shovel, digged a hole, put a football in, said we're going to forget about how we started. We begin anew, and everybody's on a new page.
And Kevin, we did that game that week, and we saw the Raiders give the Chargers all they could handle. We saw their young quarterback, Derek Carr, throw for 4 touchdowns. I mean, I think they've gotten better since then. I mean, they've been close, and they need that first win. And that's always the toughest one to come by when you're struggling. I think you get to the point where all of a sudden your confidence, you lose your confidence because you haven't had the results, and yet you put in the hard work.
Wilson to Lynch, and Lynch picks up 2 and a first down on 3rd and 1. Submarining to the 37-yard line. Marshawn is going to come out. Turbin will come back in. A lot of touches for Marshawn Lynch today. On the ground, 21 carries, 67 yards. Through the air, 4 receptions, 66 yards.
You know, workman-like effort for Marshawn Lynch. He's one of those backs, Kevin, that gets better as the game goes on.
Wilson keeps it himself after a fake. And then in the flat, brought down by Ross. Sliding to the 39. He picks up 2 on the play. Clock continues to wind down. 5 straight runs, Rich, by the Seahawks.
They're just going to try and run this one out. Good football teams have the ability to finish. And you look at Russell Wilson, doesn't take a lot of hits. He's got very natural for him, that baseball slide. It was a really fine baseball player, pro prospect, played in the minor leagues. He always knows where those first down markers are.
Even crossed paths as a high school kid with Madison Bumgarner in North Carolina. 2nd down and 8. The Giants pitch. So they go, beautiful throw. Caught by Norwood. He catches a 2nd today. He's brought down by Carey along with Hayden. The ball is into Raider territory at the 49. He picks up 12. That was a Bumgarner fastball right there. Pickup of 12, and I don't see a flag.
An eligible receiver downfield by the offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty.
There is no 76.
Correction. Repeat 2nd down.
Oh, I thought he was going to correct the
No.
number.
I'm sorry there. I don't want to joust with him with those.
Well, here's the
big
problem.
Guns.
Look at the jersey. You can't tell.
Right. It does.
Look at his jersey. You can't see that.
It's Alvin Bailey taking the place of 76.
Looks like a 6. Right?
Now you're going to get in the fashion business. I like it.
Yeah, go ahead and run it. You know, you just. Yeah, see, we're way down the field here.
Yeah, can't do it.
And they'll give you 2 yards, but after 2 yards, we'll go ahead and throw the flag.
Wilson's got 5 deployed here. 2nd and 13. Looking into the nickel. And intercepted by Hayden. Curse was there. And Luke Wilson was in the vicinity, and Hayden gets the interception. Obviously the first for him this year. And the Raiders are going to get the ball. Wilson throws it away. They'll review.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Get your own big hot pastrami melt at Subway. And by Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE network.
Well, they are reviewing the interception, And like I said, as we were going to break, they're going to review it, and it looked like it was coming out, and I think it came out.
I think DJ Hayden, the ball actually hits the ground.
Mike Carey is standing by. We'll get to him after we get to Hockey's ruling.
The ball came out of the receiver's hand and hit the ground. Therefore, it was an incomplete pass. It's 3rd and 13 on the 34-yard line.
And Mike, you were watching back in New York. I assume you agree.
Yes, guys. In order to establish a catch, the receiver would have had to have clear control before that ball hit the ground. But it slid all the way through, so he used the ground to catch the ball. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass.
Excellent explanation, Mike. Thank you. So 3rd and 13 now for Seattle.
Boy, DJ Hayden's going to kick himself tomorrow, Kevin. He's had had a couple opportunities to really. Had one earlier that could have gone to the house, and then he drops one there that would have been a big play for the Raiders to maybe get him right back in this game.
Why not run the ball a little bit more just to continue to let this clock run down, although it is 3rd and 13 right now. I mean, they've got a long way to go.
Screen or draw here.
Yep. Wilson. Lynch goes out. Lynch has it. And they get a block outside.
Staying down.
As he tries to stay in bounds. The block was by Stephen Schilling, who is now in there. And it was a gain of 9. Then they had Mack over there and Hayden and others. Gain of 9. And the ball will be placed at about the 44-yard line.
And the Raiders take a timeout.
They do. Now they've got 1 remaining. Just think what else Wilson has had to go through. You know, he's had 3 different centers now. He's had Unger, he's had Lewis, and Schilling has been in there last couple of games as a starter. Now he's in there. That's a lot. And no one knows the importance of a center more, Rich, than you.
Yeah, and he's taking on more responsibility, Kevin. You just watch him in practice. You watch the communication, him up front with the offensive line, and making sure he's helping his young center, Patrick Lewis.
But that time it was Schilling.
Yep.
Tough.
But he's done a really terrific job. I think clearly when you watch Russell Wilson, he has answers each week.
Carpenter still not in there on that offensive line since twisting his ankle. Here is the punt by John Ryan. Denarius Moore, he's a track star in high school and college, will take it for the Raiders.
Oh, they've got a wall.
They do have a wall. He's got some room, and there he goes. It was a good block by Butler, which gave an additional 5-10 yards on the far side. He races for 23 after the 42-yard punt. And so he's going to give him good beginning field position. This week, Thursday Night Football showcases an AFC North rivalry as the Browns take on the Bengals. Both won today. It's Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern, live on NFL Network with the Battle of Hoyer in Dalton.
How about the Browns 4-3 and no sign of Johnny Manziel, and the Bengals 4-2-1. Tight battle in the AFC North.
1 timeout. Oakland down 30-17. 1st and 10 from their 36. Carr, they come from the edge. He's grabbed maybe by the face mask. Yep, there go the flags. Michael Bennett came through and grabbed him right on the cage. And they really wrung Carr's neck. Plus, he's got all that black stuff from the turf up in his eyes. Those little rubber pellets.
Personal foul, face mask.
He sure did.
Defense number 72. 15-yard penalty enforced in the previous spot. An automatic 1st down.
Boy, he just beats Austin Howard, and Austin Howard's really struggled at the right guard position. He was a tackle last year for the Jets. Look, catches him right across the nose and the eye. Tough kid.
Bennett, though, he's a good one. Carr, he's a tough one. Rookie. 1st and 10. Jones drew in the backfield. They go outside to Rivera, and he dropped the ball. But was he out of bounds? Had he had it, as KJ Wright hit him. They say it's a catch. He's down to the 46-yard line, and he picks up 3. And he does get out of bounds, and 4:05. Again, the Raiders operating with just 1 timeout. And for those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. The Raiders and the Seahawks. Kevin Harlan with Rich Gannon. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast, where it'll be seen at its normally scheduled time. It is 2nd and 7 for Carr. Howard with the block. Carr has bought some time, and he's got his receiver Holmes. Downfield, big catch in a thicket of Seahawk defenders at the 28, 17-yard pickup, and that is a first down for Andre Holmes.
Andre Holmes has been quiet. You look at him in the last 4 games, 298 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. He's been their most productive receiver this past month. Hasn't had a lot of work in this one.
Rich, his first catch since the opening drive for Oakland.
Oh, he's got one-on-one coverage right down here. If you like the matchup versus Sherman, versus the pressure, here it comes.
Seahawks in the nickel, 1st and 10, and looking for Jones. He was jousting with Harold Simon, who's replacing the injured Maxwell. Nice defensive play, 2nd and 10.
Well, not a lot of room on the boundary. A little bit of an underthrow.
Yep.
The thing I like about Andre Holmes, Kevin, is his size. He is a bigger receiver. He's 6'4", and he'll go get the football.
In the nickel with Thomas, Sherman, Shed. On the 28. Good time, Carr, Bryce Butler, 20-yard line. Immediately hit in the play by Marcus Burley. It is an 8-yard gain to the Seahawk 20.
Jumping the ball. And communication critical with the crowd noise. Carr's done a nice job handling all the mechanics.
The Jones-Drew 3rd and 2. Rivera, nice catch, should be good for a first down. He was covered by the linebacker Mike Morgan. He picks up 2 to the 18. He got it. First down.
They've got to hustle.
One timeout for the Raiders.
It's taking a long time here.
1st and 10.
Now you're seeing some off coverage from Sherman down the bottom of the screen. Look how far off he is.
Holmes, yeah, he's watching Holmes. 1st and 10, they come up the middle, they got Jones-Drew. He's grabbed by Morgan and then slips away, and then finally jumping on him, Kevin Williams, a gain of 11 for Maurice Jones-Drew. It's a first down, it's 1st and goal to go. The Raiders at the 7-yard line, and a timeout. A timeout taken by Oakland, and they are out. Their final timeout.
You cannot try and tackle Maurice Jones-Drew high. He's right here. He's just going to come out of the backfield. A little bit of a dump pass. Watch the first defender in here. You try and get the ball out, try and tackle him up high. He's just too strong.
Morgan couldn't get him.
Nope.
He's like a little pocket Hercules. I don't even know what that means, but that's what he looks like.
I know what you're talking about.
I know you do.
He's tough. But he's, he has not played a lot this year. He was hurt earlier. Talked about getting him more opportunities. The other guy that I like to see more of is Reese. He's a Pro Bowl fullback. He can also split out. Talented receiver.
1st and goal at the Seahawks 7 for Derek Carr. Down the middle, Rivera, and he's at the 1. In fact, he's inside the 1. The Shed down there, and they also had Morgan making the stop. It's a gain of 6, 2nd and goal, and the clock will stop at the 2-minute warning. The Raiders, with some plays, including a 17-yard pass to Holmes, are deep in Seahawk territory. Well, the Raiders on this drive have lost a starting lineman. Gabe Jackson, the rookie, is out. Khalif Barnes now going to play that left guard for Oakland.
Yeah, Khalif Barnes, who spent time at the right tackle spot, he is now playing the left guard.
2nd and goal at the 1. Reese in motion. Carr. Oh, it was almost picked off, incomplete, and that guy right there just about grabbed it and ran the other way. Rookie Kevin Pierre-Louis.
Look at, oh jeez, he saw it the whole way. He just couldn't make the play. That would have been game over.
Game over is right. 3rd and goal at the 1. Olawale and Maurice Jones-Drew in the eye with a couple tight ends. Carr easily to Rivera. He got it, and touchdown! Rivera with the touchdown reception, his 2nd today. his second 1-yard touchdown catch. And the Raiders within reach again this afternoon.
Well, they sell the play action, and the quarterback is going to come out. They sneak out here on the side. Derek Carr had a two-way go here. He could have ran this one if he chose to, but he just flips it out there to the tight end Rivera. He's able to squeeze it in the back of the end zone.
Rivera, and they'll review this obviously as with every scoring play, but Rivera had no touchdown receptions coming into today. He's got 2, both of 1 yard. He had 4 last year as a rookie. And he's got a career-high 8 receptions from Derek Carr, who continues to impress in his rookie season.
He sells it first. He blocks down, and then he gets behind the defender. You see Shed. He's got his eyes in the backfield. Never feels Rivera until it's too late.
They count it. Janikowski to make it a 6-point game with 1:52 to go. 6-point game. Winless Oakland at 0-7 against the defending champ Seattle Seahawks. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and the government's investigation into one of the Navy SEALs who shot bin Laden. Followed by new episodes of Madam Secretary, The Good Wife, and CSI, only CBS.
That's my favorite show right there, Madam Secretary. I watch it all the time. Shelley and I, that's our show.
Yeah, they watch it.
Madam Secretary.
Like
it's a good one. I highly recommend it. Well, you look at that. They failed to recover the last 18 onside kick attempts. I do know this about Sebastian Janikowski, my old teammate. This is not his forte. You look at that. That number's there for a reason. He has struggled with this.
The last successful onside kick was 2008.
And you say, why does he struggle with it? I mean, there's different ways to do it. You know, you want to bounce it a couple times and have it pop up. You've got that one that skids across the ground. It's different when you kick it on grass as opposed to the turf.
I would bet, yeah.
And so he has worked at it. He's gotten better at it, but it's not one of his strengths.
Well, only 4 league-wide this season have been good. 2 by the Colts.
And most of them are when you're not expecting it. Now you've got Seattle. They know the Raiders have no timeouts. You look at Bobby April, the special teams coordinator. Seattle's got their hands team out there.
Bryce Butler took that towel and threw it away. A little housekeeping. Here we go. What happened? Timeout, Seattle. Yeah, now they've got 1 left.
Timeout, Seattle.
It's a good timeout there. Because then you can look at it. You can preview it. You see Brian Schneider, the special teams coordinator. He's got his group together. He's right in the middle. Now he's talking about all the possibilities.
It has not been an easy season for the Seahawks, has it?
No, it really hasn't, Kevin, and I'm not surprised. You know, things change when you win a Super Bowl, and I think that's what's happened to this football team. With winning a Super Bowl comes greater expectations and more pressure. At times, you look at Seattle this year, they seem tight. They need to cut it loose and get back to having fun. I mentioned this before. Last year, it was about applying the pressure, not feeling the pressure.
Well, they've had a lot of roster turnover, as all teams do. The other thing is, they don't have the depth on the defensive line that they once had, which was so big late in the game.
Lost Brett Bryant, Chris Clemens in free agency. Lost some good players on the defensive side of the ball.
Lost their receiver, Golden Tate. A lot of young receivers Wilson's got to work with. And here we go with Janikowski trying it again. Another whistle.
So what we saw was it bounced, and then it jumps up in the air.
What if he's got another kind of kick in his bag of tricks here? Well, now
there is no foul. The ball was kicked while an official was still out of position before the ball had been blown ready to play by the referee. Therefore, there was no play and no foul.
Yeah, that's the kind of look you have when you're saying, you got to be kidding me.
Well, it's usually the back judge will notify the kicker when the ball's ready to be in play. He'll give him the go-ahead. I see Bobby April in the middle there. He's a good one, too.
It gives him another chance to visit with 1:52 to play, which is an eternity in the NFL.
Well, not only that, but Pete Carroll's complaining now that the Raiders have had a chance to go back
visit,
over there. It almost turned into a timeout for the Raiders.
Yeah, it wasn't their fault the guy was out of place. Right?
Officials did not do a good job in that situation. See, Pete Carroll's complaining they shouldn't allow them to leave the field.
Which would be a delay of game, I would assume, right? If they were going to flag it.
Once the penalty was over, they should have put the ball right back in play.
All right, a third look at this now. I guess we know where it's going, don't we?
Well, yeah, you know, you got a left-footed kicker. Hard to kick it over this way.
Well, let's see what he does. And dropped! And loose. Helfet tried to get it, and it went right through his hands, the backup tight end. And automatically they are pointing, as you can see, one of the officials there, that Seattle has claimed the ball. But look at the scrum. Tight end Helfet had to go right through his glove hands. It looks like it is Pierre Lewis who came up with the ball. Or no, one more guy is under there. Keep layer after layer of player. I got it. That was Jermaine Kearse. He was at the bottom of the pile. Number 15, watch him. As he had a beat on it.
Boy, the ball's just laying there on the ground. Kearse is right there to scoop it up. Sebastian does a nice job. See, it jumps up in the air really quickly.
And Helfet just had to go right through his hands. His best Cam Newton impression there. So no timeouts for the Raiders. The clock can wind down. The fans are heading to the aisles and the exits in what has been a constant rain in Seattle. And Sperano's team again playing well in this against the defending champs.
Just weren't able to overcome those 3 turnovers, Kevin, in the first half. I mean, they were costly. A couple interceptions by Derek Carr. You got a mistake by another rookie on a kick return. TJ Carey, he puts the ball on the ground.
At the same time, Rich, Seattle has got this gigantic target on their back. In every team that they play, it's their Super Bowl. So for the Raiders, this is huge, playing the defending champs. But if they win today, and they're going to go on, obviously, and we're officially given the victory, 2 in a row, 5-3 in 2 games in back of Arizona, who won today in Dallas. The Cowboys without Romo.
Well, no one said it was going to be easy.
No.
Pete Carroll and the staff know that, and you know you're right, Kevin. Everyone is gunning for you.
Very tough.
I think Seattle's got to get healthy.
You get the best shot of every opponent you play.
They really do. They've got to get healthy. They've got to get some players back on both sides of the ball, and they have to play better offensively. You know, you look at the numbers, just 7 of 17 on 3rd down. Russell Wilson, you look at his numbers today, just 17 of 35.
The defending champs have now won 18 of the last 20 games at home, and they go to 5-3 with a 2nd consecutive win. The Raiders have lost every game this season. They are 0-8, and they've lost 14 consecutive games. But you know the message that Tony Sperano is getting is, you are improved. And Rich, as a former Raider, I'm sure you could say the same thing. They played with a lot of mistakes well today on the road in the rain against that guy right there, who's as good a quarterback as the NFL has. All right, the final, Seattle holds on. They win it 30-24. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, followed by Madam Secretary and The Good Wife and CSI. For Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan saying good night from Seattle. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Let's take you to New York and James.